pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all. Notice of this meeting has been provided to the Hopewell Valley News, Times of Trenton, and the Trentonian, and posted on the door of Borough Hall in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Susanna, would you do roll call?
Mayor Kennedy.
Here.
Mr. Buda.
Here.
Ms. Baxter.
Here.
Mr. Donaldson.
Here.
Ms. Lyon.
Here.
Ms. Perry.
Here.
Mr. Young.
Grand answer.
Ms. Ferrera.
Here.
Ms. Coelho.
Here.
And Chairman Michael.
Here. Let's take a look at the minutes from the last meeting, and have any changes, Brad?
It says in the, for the completeness review, that all were in favor of the motion and it carried when we're, but it also notes the two,
Dissents.
nays.
So if you just strike all were in
Strike all were
favor,
in
and it
favor.
was carried.
And Peter, I just want to clarify whether Paul and I are class 2 or class 3. I thought I was class 2 and he's 3.
Correct.
But this Paul is 2.
Me too.
Yeah, you're supposed to fix that.
And mine is a 4-year term and not a 1-year term.
That's been corrected.
I've been great.
All right, so with those amendments, I'll move to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Thank you. And, we've got 11, Susanna, are there more than 11 or still 11? The vouchers?
Yeah,
11?
no, this is correct, yeah.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion to approve the vouchers when you're ready.
So me?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Thank you. At this point, I'd like to open the floor to the public for discussion of any items that are not on tonight's agenda. So if you have anything you'd like to say before we get into the application, now's the time to do it.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Melissa Cookman. It doesn't have to do with the site plan, but I've asked this question maybe 3 times, at least 2, and I'm not sure, to the planning board and to the council, about the site plan having to be completed within 6 months and presented. And no one has been able to give me an answer. And so I know that it can be extended if it was requested by the developer to the borough. And was it?
Mr. Chairman, I'm counsel to the developer. I can respond if desired.
You guys don't, the planning board doesn't know the answer to this.
But it's not, well, we
don't
don't,
know
our
what-
professionals do. That's why I was looking at Christopher.
Yeah, I don't even know what site plan we're talking about. This is in.
It's an article.
Yeah.
So I believe what she's
Redevelopment
referring to is in the redevelopment agreement, there's
Yes.
a stipulation that within 6 months.
That is,
As I understand from council, it just took a long time to work out the details of the pilot information.
I can give a better answer.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was given an answer. Well, this was complicated. They needed more
Okay, I
time.
can give a better answer. Charles Liebling of Windell's Marks, here this evening representing the applicant. First of all, the agreement itself provides for tolling of time periods. And let me point out, it's not your document, it's the township's document, it's not a planning board document, Ms. Cookman. But in any case, it provides for tolling. Notwithstanding that, on the agenda for the council meeting this week is an extension of that period just to formalize it. It was belt and suspenders, we didn't feel it was needed, but we went ahead and asked for it.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm reading what is on our website here, and it says that within 6 months of the effective date of this agreement, which was November 12th, the developer shall file with the planning board a reasonably complete application for preliminary, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This 6-month deadline may be extended by the borough upon a request in writing by redeveloper in order to accommodate the required review by the Borough Historic Commission. And that's what I'm asking, if that was done, and if not, what are the consequences for them not meeting their agreement?
It was done.
So they got a request,
Yes.
what,
Yes, we made the request.
in writing, and you guys have that in writing somewhere?
It goes to Borough
It's,
Council.
It's not, it's.
It's on the agenda, it's on the
You need to talk to
agenda,
council.
Borough Council agenda for this week.
It's not a
Again, I
planning
have a
board thing.
resolution.
Well,
The
I'll
request
bring
was
it up
made.
at the meeting for now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody
The other
else?
thing I would just, I'm sorry, encourage, with all the interest in this, if there's any way to make it much easier to find all of this paperwork on the website. I know the website is being redesigned, but it's so hard to find it and get to it, so I just encourage that. Thank you.
Anybody else have comments for something not on the agenda tonight? Okay, seeing no more comments, I'll close the floor. All right, the next thing on the agenda is the certificate of appropriateness, but we have, I, in consultation with our professionals, have decided to move that later in the application hearing, so we will not be doing that. So the way this is gonna work tonight, this is a very consequential development application for the borough, probably definitely more than we've ever handled before, and probably more than we're ever gonna handle again. So we wanna be very deliberate about this, and we wanna hear all your comments. So what we're gonna do is we're going to allow testimony until about 9 o'clock tonight. At which point I'm gonna open the floor for questions to the applicant. At 10 o'clock, I'm gonna close the meeting down. This is gonna go for many nights, I am thinking. So there's no reason to go to 2 o'clock in the morning and then still have to carry it over. So 10 o'clock, we're cutting this off. Christopher,
Sure. So if we're gonna take a look at the item on the agenda as the matter for procedural purposes, let's see if anybody has any conflicts or should be removed. And if you are or have a conflict, like being located within 200 feet of this application, if you could step down, that would be appreciated.
Peter,
no.
I have a question about procedure. Is there a way that we can know what pieces of this elephant we're gonna be discussing in the upcoming meetings? Like, that we can all be prepared of what forms are coming? Yeah.
I think we can let the applicant's council talk to their scheduling and they'll present that at the beginning of their.
That's not today.
Okay, so.
They'll usually run through their witness
It'll
list
be
and,
laid out so that in 2 weeks we deal with traffic and.
well, it'll depend on how far we get tonight as well.
Okay.
So, So I know we have a lot of people here tonight and some of you may be here.
Hey, let's listen up. Thank you.
Some of you may be here for the first time before either a planning or zoning board. So Peter asked me just to kind of give you a brief overview of what to expect. We just listed the application. We removed anyone that had or may have had a potential conflict. So the board has been established for this. The next step is we will comment on the notice that went out and the board's jurisdiction. And then after that, the applicant gets the floor and by that I mean the applicant gets to present his or her case. So the applicant will get up, give an introduction, talk about the project, whatever the applicant wants to do, and then the applicant will have witnesses. There's 2 different types of witnesses. Fact witnesses, or you have expert witnesses. When you have an expert witness, that witness has to be qualified as an expert. So we'll go through that and you'll see as people come up and get sworn in, they're either going to be a representative or a fact witness or an expert witness, and they'll go through qualifications and be qualified as an expert witness. What typically happens is the applicant will go through and have that expert witness go through testimony. and go through, their exhibits, or they may have put together like a presentation. And then at the end of each one, the board typically has some questions. There may be some questions from, the board's consultants as well. And a lot of times we move on to the next witness, because we have a lot of people here today in consultation with the chair. We thought it may be good to open up for questions after each, particular expert witness. So if we have somebody, talking about traffic, after the board has the opportunity to discuss it and, resolve and go through our questions and concerns, then we would open it up to the public for questions. Now, this is different than your ability to like make the case and make statements. Do you love it? Do you hate it? That's not what this is about. This is specific questions or cross-examination of the expert. After the applicant is done with their application, they presented all their proofs, all their experts, all their exhibits, then the matter gets open to the public. And at that time is when you could present your case. So you could present evidence, you could have your own expert witness qualified and provide testimony. You have that ability to, you also can ask questions again, but you have that ability to go through and make those statements. But early on, we thought it would be nice to have that open after a particular expert testifies, open it up and see if there's any questions. And I ask you to really focus on the question part. We just want questions and answers. And then later on, you'll have the full opportunity to talk about and make your case, and whether you like things and whether you don't like things. And that will be a public comment, like I said, after the applicant's full case. I don't know if the board had any particular questions of what I went through or on the procedure, but
I would just like to say that for the questions, I'd like to keep those a time limit of 5 minutes for the questions. And if somebody has already asked your question and it's been answered, please don't get up and ask it again. Because we want to give as many people an opportunity to ask different questions as we can. Again, the question should be based on the testimony that we've received. If we haven't gotten to traffic tonight, don't ask a traffic question yet, because we won't have those answers.
I meant to say that.
Sorry.
No, I'm just saying, thank you. That's exactly right. We don't want to have questions and say, oh, it's going to be the next witness, So please be mindful of that. You should focus on the testimony that you heard and questions for that particular witness. Great, thank you, Peter, for pointing that out. Then after, just to give you the full picture, after everything is opened up to the public and the public has the opportunity to speak, ask different extra questions if they like, the matter to the hearing will essentially be closed. So the public comment period will be closed. The applicant will have the ability to make a summation or respond. And then the board will go into deliberations where the board will discuss the project, go through its proofs, go through, what was talked about over tonight or how many nights it is, and go and make a decision on the application based on the required proofs that need to be in place. And that's really it. They would evaluate it, determine whether or not it met the conditions and of site plan. And after that, the board makes a vote. And that's the whole process. So, Mr. Chair, if you like, I could talk about the notice.
Yes, please.
Okay. So we did receive an affidavit with the notice. It has a list. There were a couple of calls or questions from people in the community about the notice, people that were within the 200 feet of the application, or the property, I should say, that said that they hadn't received notice. And I just want to clarify, just so everybody understands, that the applicant itself is required to send out notice. But, if the mail carrier loses it, or if it goes out certified mail. So if you get a notice of a certified mail and you never pick it up, you may not get that notice. There's no actual requirement. The way that the law is written is that notice is effective upon mailing. So in this particular case, we take a look at the list of all the properties within 200 feet, which the borough actually produces that list, and the applicant can rely on that. And so long as they produce evidence in their affidavit, which is basically is stamped and it shows the address that it went through, that it went to, that it went out, that satisfies the requirement of notice. My office has reviewed the substance of the notice and determined, as with our planning board secretary, that all of the requirements have been met and that the board has jurisdiction in this matter.
Thank you. And last month, we deemed this application complete, so we're ready to start the hearing.
Yeah. So I guess at this point, we go to step one, which is turning it over to the applicant.
Thank you very much. I'll just for the record, I'll repeat, Charles Liebling, Windell's Marks, Lane and Middendorf, representing Hopewell 57 Urban Renewal Entity LLC, which is the applicant on this application. This application is for preliminary and final site plan approval. There are no variances being sought, and there are no design exceptions or design waivers being sought. It is fully compliant with the redevelopment plan and the redevelopment agreement that was entered into between the borough and the applicant. It also meets the affordable set-aside requirement for the affordable units that are part of this project. We understand and appreciate the significance of this project to this board, to the public, to the borough generally, and as a result, we have spent a great deal of time preparing and assembling the application and have a high quality and experienced team of professionals who have worked to make that happen. And I'll be bringing them up in order as explained to present. And then, of course, respond to any questions. The first witness to come up will be Jeffrey Albert, who is the representative of the redeveloper, who will be generally introducing the application, the project, explaining the nature of it, its background, and so forth, as a representative of the redeveloper. Then we'll move to our experts. Those professionals are first Paul Winters from Bowman Consulting Group. He is our civil engineer. Michael Cowder will be testifying for Cowder and Kelly, the project architects, and they will each be presenting to you the key elements of their component of the application that they submitted. We also have Victor Anasica, the project's traffic engineer. A traffic report was submitted, reached conclusions of no impact, and he will be available to respond to any questions about that report at the appropriate time. If there's no questions for me, I'm happy to kick things off and invite Jeffrey Albert to be sworn in. We good? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mr. Albert, can you state your name for the record and spell your last name, please?
It's Jeffrey Albert, A-L-B-E-R-T.
And if you can raise your right hand, and do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Taken us a long time to get here. This Friday will mark exactly 4 years from when I first executed a letter of intent to study this community and this site. Obviously, a lot has happened since then. We met with a lot of people. We've listened. We've tried to take very good care of what we've learned. Along that way, we've met. We met with the redevelopment subcommittee. We met with the council of the borough, the planning board, the financial agreement working group, historic preservation committee, the fire official, and others, and all of them have help to shape this proposal and make it better. And throughout in that entire process, we have tried to collaborate with each and every one of those groups to try to come up with something that is worthy of your approval. There's no, these kind of communities are not done by a single entity, they're collaborations. And the result of what you'll see tonight is a collaboration of all those efforts. So this is the site, excuse me, that we all know and love. There are two lots. The principal lot has the building on it. There's also a lot on Somerset Street. The site is generally bounded by Lafayette, Hamilton, and Somerset Streets. It's a total of 4.3 acres. The existing building on the site is 110,000 square feet. The first part of that building, not the entire building, of course, which has been worked on over many years. First part of that building was built in 1900 by the H.A. Smith Company. They were in the business of producing dials and meters and various other kinds of equipment. Later taken over by Rockwell Company, which later became Rockwell International. And finally, Cooltronics. But during the Rockwell period is where, starting in the 1970s, it was discovered that the site was contaminated. And it was contaminated generally with metals and solvents. Discovered in the 70s, as I said before, principally carbon tetrachloride, beryllium, copper, dichloroethylene, and those sorts of things. The good news is that all the soils on the site have been remediated to residential standards today, other than one small area under the building that has not yet been characterized. The groundwater, which unfortunately involves many of the residential areas, many of the residential homes in the area, as well as this site, is continuing to be remediated through a pump and treat program, which will continue for quite some time. Rockwell is the entity responsible, and those activities are ongoing with them. What it really means for us is that we have to take extreme care in both the demolition of the building and the reconstruction of any new structures there, in working with vapor controls and other environmentally sensitive mechanisms. So
Just some quick housekeeping. We're referring to Exhibit A2. You all have a paper copy of the exhibit package, which we'd like to offer for acceptance as exhibits A through 23.
Just so, because I would hate to start with A2, so A1 was just the title page for the
Yeah.
record. And A2 is that exhibit that was shown, was an aerial photograph, I guess?
yes.
Yes.
Is there 24 pages in the exhibit, Chris, and it goes A1 through A23?
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Okay, so let's go on to A3 since we're done with A2. So this is our proposal. And let me just say right from the beginning that what you're seeing here, unless you're flying a drone or happen to be 130 feet tall, you're never going to see it this way. But this is really for the purposes of seeing the entire site as completely as possible. So our proposal is 120 apartment homes with 24 or 20% set aside for affordable. There are two housing types that really are intended to respond to the surrounding community in which it's found. You'll hear more about that later with the architectural testimonies. But the scale of the buildings and their type are really attuned to the neighborhoods that they abut. The architecture and the elevations were greatly informed and improved by our work with the Historical Preservation Commission, which we're indebted to. There's also, besides the residential buildings, in the center of the site, there is a community building which houses such uses as a rental center, a gym, co-working spaces, a pet spa, and package room. The affordable housing will be, again, 20% of 24 apartments, 4 of them 1 bedroom, 15 of them 2 bedroom, and 5 of them 3 bedrooms, as required by statute. They will also be stratified by income, and they'll be fully integrated into the apartment building, the 4-story building in the rear, because that's the building that is fully and 100% accessible. But the affordable apartments will be dispersed throughout the building. They'll be on every floor and in every way as to finishes, appliances, and in all other ways indistinguishable from the market rate apartments. They'll also be administered by a third party, which is a requirement of the borough. Our application, as Chuck said, is without any variances or any waivers. It is fully compliant, but more than that, what we have tried very hard to do is to be very sensitive and responsible stewards of this site. And as I said, we are grateful for all the work and collaboration that we've received from the various boards and organizations within the borough. We really look forward to breathing new life into this unused and underused site. And we look forward to presenting in greater detail our proposal.
Mr. Albert, certainly available to answer any questions.
Oh, sorry.
At this point, I will open the floor for questions. 5-minute time limit, please, and questions that pertain only to what he's presented, not to anything that we might.
Peter, I don't know if the board had any particular questions first, so
Oh,
maybe you should
true,
ask
true enough.
the board members first. Okay,
At this time.
just
Yeah.
want to make sure.
No, thanks, Christopher.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Albert? Yes.
Yes, I'm Mr. Alvarez.
You have to come up.
Up to the microphone.
And we have to make a record, so I do have to just,
know your record.
yeah. Okay. Could you state your name?
Sure.
Spell your last name,
Richard Friedman, Friedman.
and do you swear to tell the truth?
Yes, I wrote his question.
I know, I still want to do it just in case you dive into that area by
Right.
mistake.
Robert, you said that you're representing your council, said the redeveloper. Who is the redeveloper?
Hopewell 57 Urban Renewal Entity LLC.
And who is that?
That is a group of people, including myself.
And is
But
there
that is the designated redeveloper as designated by the borough.
somewhere we could go on file and see who that is? As opposed to just a name of a corporation or an LLC?
I don't know particularly. I have no problem in identifying exactly who it is.
Okay, well, if I understand the picture you showed before, there's gonna be 127 units.
120.
120, and that's gonna be on the 3.1 acre, part of the 3.1 acres,
It's going to be on the principal lot.
which is 3.1 acres.
I think it's 3.3, but yes.
Doesn't the ordinance say a maximum of 90 or 30 per acre, and that seems to be in excess of 30 per acre?
No, the entire site is 4.3 acres.
But the part of the site, about 1.25 acres or something like that, is across the street, not contiguous.
The entire redevelopment is on 4.3 acres.
But where they're gonna be is not on the same site, is that correct? It's across the street.
All the improvements for the entire site are on 4.3 acres.
I understand what you're saying, but the lot on which the units are gonna be placed is 3.1 acres. Even though there may be more in the total picture.
It shouldn't matter.
That's not
I'm
my
not sure,
question.
I'm not sure that we should be having a debate about
That's not my
calculation.
question. My question is simply, are all the units gonna be? on the
I answered that
3.1?
question, yes, I did.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. Okay.
Yes.
If you could state your name for the record, spell your last name.
My name is Yuri Gorbunov, Gorbunov. Gorbunov. Hi,
Oh, do you swear to tell the truth?
I do swear to tell the truth. In the exhibits that you provided, it provides a nice overview of the proposed site from a specific perspective. Is there any possibility to provide additional perspectives from other points in the city? You understand how the skyline is going to be affected?
You will see a great number of images as we continue with our presentation, particularly in the architecture section.
Fantastic. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, Alex Bellman, Ellman.
Do you swear affirm to tell the truth?
I do. You mentioned that the affordable units are gonna be administered by a third party.
Yes.
Has that third party been selected yet?
No,
At what stage in the process does that person or entity get selected?
once we have a positive vote, I think we probably start entertaining. There are two or three area qualified third party designated firms that do this. Princeton Community Housing, for example, is one of them. Piazza Associates is another.
And that will be separate from the property manager for the entire site?
The affordable housing program, as the borough requires, will be administered by that third party. So the income qualifications, the certifications and so forth.
Okay, but that process is handled separately from the property manager who's gonna collect the rent?
They're integrated.
Okay,
So once the affordable housing designation is done and the applicant is approved, then they'd probably be under our property management. But the program itself, as to the income qualifications and so forth, will be administered by the third party.
okay. I have an additional question about the affordable units, and I don't know if that's appropriate to ask now. I'll go for it, let's see.
I'll try to answer.
This is the biggest swing that I think the town is taking towards our affordable housing mandate. So I want to make sure that we're getting as many points as possible. And I understand that there is a possibility of getting bonus points. Granted, we meet some certain qualifications. We're not going to meet all of them. We're not close to public transit, for example. But I'm curious to know what steps you may be taking to ensure that the borough is getting as close as possible to meeting our affordable
Well,
housing.
there, I have two responses.
Okay.
The second one is to really talk to the planner. But the first one is that, that normally 15% is required for rental communities. We're doing 20%. So already the borough is getting more. But as to other credits, that the borough might receive, the planner is probably much better qualified than I am to answer that.
Okay.
Do you want me to dive in?
If you can do it, in a brief manner. Yes.
I have my bathroom, I don't need to, just the way this is set up. So yes, the affordable housing program is actually mandated under state law and regulations. So any new development in the state has to comply by those regulations. The borough just got their compliance for their affordable housing. This project is part of their affordable housing compliance.
Right.
And we will be getting a half bonus credit for each unit because it's a redevelopment.
Got it. Okay. Well, no, thank you.
Yes, sorry.
I'm Susan Crossley,
Say your last name, please.
Crossley.
Do you swear affirm to tell the truth?
I swear.
Thank you.
All right, so my first question is a follow on to Rick's question, one of Rick's questions. And that is, what drove the decision to concentrate all the improvements on the 3.1 acre parcel and not utilize the other parcel?
Design
Design,
and proximity to the railroad, which we think we can ameliorate with architectural technique on the other parcel,
okay,
but is much more difficult when you're adjacent to the railroad.
okay, so what is it about design?
We wanted to create as much of a integrated community as possible.
Okay,
It's difficult to do that with an intervening street.
right, so what's gonna be done with the other parcel?
It's being used for parking.
For parking? Okay, it's going to be used for parking. How many spaces?
It's 96.
So you mentioned 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units that are going to be affordable, and you ran through the numbers with those. Could you just give me a total number of bedrooms for the whole development? How many bedrooms of these 120 units?
You know, we're gonna get into that when the architects, so we'll,
We
you know, I think we'll-
haven't heard like the civil, which will go through and show you where all the improvements are located and like the parking and the circulation. And then through the architect, you'll see the buildings and you'll see, I don't know, maybe floor plans, I'm not sure what exhibits they have. But we're gonna get to those details. This is
Okay.
just kind of like the intro.
So I have another follow-on to one of Rick's questions, and that is, you said you're happy to identify the other people who are part of this corporation. So who are they? And are any of
I
them
think
here?
talked about in the audience.
That would
Yeah.
be great.
There-
I
there's
think we'd
three
all
of them.
love to know.
There's one.
I'm on.
Do you want to
There's-
tell me
and
their
those are the
names?
other two.
This is it, the
This,
four.
this is the entire,
Okay.
you know, this is
Do you
not
have a
like,
name?
I just want to be able to say that, you know, this is not some mysterious thing that, you know, we're
Look, you
hiding
don't
from.
need to persuade
That's
me.
Martin Kahn, that's Caleb firing, and that's Micah firing, and I'm Jeffrey Albert. That is it.
Okay, do you live in Hopewell Borough?
We all live in Princeton.
You all live in Princeton? Okay, have you ever lived in Hopewell?
I think we're kind of getting off
We're getting
the
the
track,
weeds?
yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I ask just one follow-up question to clarify?
Rick, as long as I don't have anybody else that wants to ask a question. Keith, please. We will circle back to you, Rick, promise.
Hi, my name is Keith Hubby, H-O-B, Victor, Ethan, Echo, Y.
And
I
you
got
swear
it.
for tell the truth?
Swear.
Thank you.
Can we go back to, exhibit 2, please? Sorry, exhibit, I think it's exhibit 3 is the drawing. Right. A3. The community center, can you just list off what it's going to be in the community
Yeah.
center? Again,
I
please?
did, I'll do it again.
No, that's why I'm asking.
There'll be a small leasing center,
Mhm.
there'll be a gym,
Yes,
there'll be a co-working space, lounge,
good,
package room, and pet spa.
okay. So I guess, and nowhere in that community space is there going to be any housing?
No.
Okay. So, to the extent that you're aware, what part of the, affordable housing obligation is satisfied by having a gym in the community center?
I don't understand the question.
Is having a gym a requirement in order to satisfy?
No.
Okay.
No,
Is having,
but let me clarify something, because it was a question that was asked in a different context. Everyone who's a member of this community, whether they're affordable, apartment, resident or market rate resident, has full access to all the amenities on site.
right, but my question wasn't whether or not the community would have access. My question is whether or not, it satisfies it's a requirement for affordable housing. So the pet spa is not satisfying a requirement of our affordable housing obligation.
None of those amenities are in any way satisfying any requirement.
Okay,
There are additional amenities that we thought were appropriate for this community.
okay. And what was that determination based on? Was there a survey done?
Experience. It's just, you know, I've been doing this a long time, and these are the things that apartment residents seem to want and desire, so that's why we.
So, just so I'm clear, you didn't do a survey of the people in the immediate area on Lafayette, Hamilton, or Elm?
No,
Okay. So was there ever a discussion or determination, contemplated that to reduce the 4-story and instead create additional housing in lieu of the community center?
this was, the 4-story building was the subject of a great number of meetings, maybe you were a part of them.
I was,
And it was determined that was the most appropriate way of dealing with the site to create the most open space available, as well as to as to appropriately deal with the scale and location of where those units should be. So, I don't know that we did not relitigate that issue.
Okay, so come back to my question again. Was it ever discussed or were there ever any conceptual drawings where there would be housing in lieu of the quote unquote community center?
No,
Okay.
No.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yes, in the back. I haven't forgotten you, Rick.
Thanks.
State your name for the record, spell your last name.
Andrew Osborne.
Okay.
OSBORN.
Thank you. Do you swear affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
I just have a couple questions. Is it going to be, all privately financed or is it public financing, like privately financed?
Mhm.
And then I think this might have been brought up at a meeting in last November, but are the market rate apartments, the rent range 27 to
I can't really talk about the rent range. I just don't, right now, we don't know. I mean, we were asked to give an estimated guess. We did. I don't know how long this process is gonna take. I don't know what the market is gonna be like when we're finished. So it's just a total guess.
Well, I mean, if it takes longer, that means conceivably it will be higher, but I mean.
I would say it's not relevant to site plan review.
Well, I guess I'm asking,
He answered, the answer.
come on, different question. All right, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rick?
Yeah, just a point of clarification, maybe.
You were ready, were sworn in, you remain under oath.
How long is that good for?
That's a really good question.
And this is not argumentative, so I just want to know, we're not arguing what the law means or the ordinance doesn't mean. It is clear though that the three, all the units are gonna be on the 3.1, 3.2 acres.
Asked and answered, yes.
Yeah.
Excuse me, you're not an attorney, last I looked. So I appreciate you not.
What's the question, Rick?
The question is, which he claims was asked and answered, which I think it might have been, that all of the units are on the 3.1 piece of the property. 3.1 acre piece of the property. I just want that to be clear.
Correct.
Without arguing whether that's appropriate or not appropriate, unless he wants to argue, I'll argue, because apparently he's an attorney too.
No, I'm not an attorney and I'm not.
He did answer that, and let's, thank
So
you.
it's clear.
You were good.
No, absolutely.
Anybody else? Okay, I'll close the floor, and if you want to bring up your next witness.
Just a question. Since we're integrating the questioning as we go, could you just tell me again what happens at 9 o'clock?
We've kind of changed a little bit, so at 9 o'clock, I guess we're
We'll just
probably
keep
just gonna
going.
keep going. yeah.
Okay, all right, understood.
But at 10 o'clock, we're done.
Okay, I understand. I just wanted to be prepared, okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah, our next witness is our civil engineer. His name is Paul Winters. He's from Bowman Consulting Group, and I'd like to, invite him up and have him, present his professional qualifications. And in reverse order, be sworn in, present his professional qualifications, and, go through the civil engineering components of the project.
Great. Paul, can you, state your name for the record, spell your last name?
Yes, it's Paul Winters, Winters.
Do you swear affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
You know what, before we get to his qualifications, I'd like to have our consultant sworn in, because now that we're getting into some technical, you may be asked to ask questions. I want to make sure the record's clear that you've, been sworn in, as well. So Joanna, you want to just state your name and?
Joanna Flegel.
Do you swear affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Okay.
Candace Davis.
Do you swear affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
Mark Ball.
Do you swear affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure that they're on record.
Okay, thank you. Paul, could you just give the board the benefit of your professional qualifications?
I would be happy to, thank you. Yes, I hold a Bachelor of Science degree in Civil and Environmental Engineering from Rutgers University. I'm a licensed New Jersey professional engineer. My license is in good standing. I've been licensed for 20 years. I have over 20 years of experience as a consulting engineer. And I've previously been qualified to offer professional testimony in several municipalities. Just a few to mention include Princeton, Bridgewater, Bound Brook, South Brunswick, New Brunswick, Trenton, and many other municipalities in some counties as well.
I'd like to offer Mr. Winters as an expert in the field of civil engineering.
Accept.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right, so this evening I would just like to start with the description of the existing site briefly, and then I'll go into a description of the proposed site improvements for that, which is on the screen right now, is Exhibit A4. Which is titled Existing Conditions Aerial, Hopewell 57 Urban Renewal. What you see here is recent aerial imagery, satellite imagery, upon which we transcribed just two, they're not quite rectangles, but they're four-sided areas that designate these two lots. Property consists of 57 Hamilton Avenue and 62 Somerset Street. Lot 1, Block 18, which is in the center of the screen that has primary building on it that is today. And Lot 7, Block 12, which is to the north of that, to the north side of Somerset Street, which contains the existing parking lot. Lot 1 has frontage on all three streets, Lafayette Street, Hamilton Avenue, and Somerset Street, and Lot 7 only has frontage on Somerset Street to its south. The surrounding area consists of following uses to the south. There's single-family and two-family residences across Lafayette from Lot 1. There's existing single-family residences to the west across Hamilton. There are some retail uses and other businesses to the north and northwest across Somerset. There is a vacant parcel to the northeast along Somerset Street, also to the east of Lot 7. And there's a wooded property immediately to our east of Lot 1, beyond which is the Elm Street residential area. The property is entirely within the redevelopment plan for Block 18, Lot 1, and Block 12, Lot 7, establishing the MF multifamily residential housing zone as adopted for borough ordinances number 887 and 891. Just about the property a little bit. Lot 1 is approximately 350 feet in depth and 420 feet in width. Lot 7 is approximately 185 feet in depth and 220 feet in width. The total area of the property together is 4.3 acres. And just because the question came up, the exact acreage of Lot 1 is 3.35 and the other property is 0.95 acres. Both lots slope generally from north to south. Lot 1 also contains a water course, which is identified as an unnamed tributary to Benton's Brook. That's along the easterly part of Lot 1, and that water course flows from north to south. At the southerly limits, within Lot 1, the brook enters into a culvert, which carries the water course off site to the southeast. Areas in the vicinity of the water course have also been determined to be regulated wetlands. The Lot 1 portion of the site is currently developed with the principal building, which is presently vacant, though formerly contained industrial uses as mentioned and discussed in prior testimony, and a surface parking lot. Lot 7 portion of the site contains an existing parking lot, which served that use on Lot 1 previously. The approximate existing parking on that lot is 121 spaces in total. There are 3 existing two-way driveways providing access to and from Lot 1, with 1 on each road frontage. Lot 7 has 3 existing two-way driveways, all from Somerset Street. The property was subject to prior environmental remediation measures that were also mentioned earlier in testimony. A portion of the site is also encumbered by areas regulated by the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, including the Flood Hazard Control Act rules and the Freshwater Level Protection Act, as related to the unnamed tributary of the brook. With that summary of existing conditions, I want to move on to the second exhibit I have, which is Exhibit 85. This is titled Site Plan Rendering, Hopewell 57 Urban Renewal. Similar, both exhibits, just for record, dated February 3rd, 2026. Similar to the prior exhibit, we have the same aerial satellite imagery as the backdrop to this, and upon it, we superimpose elements from our site plan, principally the land dimensioning plan and the landscaping plan, and just prepare a color render to show how this development looks in context of what's presently surrounding it. This project proposes redevelopment of lot 1 to replace the existing improvements with a multifamily residential development. The project will consist of 120 total apartment units within 5 new buildings. 78 units are proposed within a 4-story apartment building, which is going to be located generally to the north and east portion of the site. It looks like Zoom is breaking into my image. Thank you. To the north and east portion of the site. And there will be 42 units proposed within the 4 3-story townhouse buildings that are in the front of the street in Hamilton Avenue. An additional building is the proposed community center, community building located in the interior of the lot. The lot will also contain 67 parking spaces along the main drive aisle between the townhouse and apartment buildings. Lot 1 will have 2 new driveways to serve the site, one from Somerset Street and the other from Lafayette. The main drive aisle through the site is also designed to accommodate turning movements for emergency service vehicles, including the largest fire apparatus identified through our discussion with fire officials, so we've evaluated that. In addition to this parking on lot 1, lot 7, which is today a parking lot, will remain largely unchanged, and it will continue to provide a total of 121 parking spaces to serve the new development. That includes 15 banked parking spaces along the western side of the lot. We're seeking to make these banked spaces used as spaces that are tandem parking spaces. Since there'll be tandems, they will not have immediate availability to back out to the aisle, and for that reason, we're going to designate those to residents who have 2 cars, so they don't have any issues with blocking traffic flow. We also propose to screen the west side of that lot along the property line against that parking. Overall, the project will be proposing 209 parking spaces, which includes the spaces noted on both lots, as well as 21 proposed on-street parking spaces that will be striped along our frontage. This is a total that's greater than the required parking for the redevelopment plan of 180 spaces to serve this. Therefore, the project provides more than the required amount of parking spaces for the development.
Paul, does that also include the tandem spaces or?
Yes, it does. That includes the 15.
The 209.
209.
In terms of meeting the requirement.
Yes. If there was a question that did come up in our review and discussion with the professionals, even if we were not to count those 15 spaces, which would back that number of 209 down to 194, we would still have in excess of parking needed to comply.
Yeah, so we're not counting. The answer is no.
Yeah, we don't have to count those to meet it, but we would like to count them just to provide the additional parking available for residents with 2 cars. Handicap accessible spaces are also proposed to comply with the ADA standards, and site improvements will also comply with New Jersey electric vehicle parking rules, which is statewide legislation. Our current plan depicts 14 spaces on lot 1. We've also had discussion with the board's traffic engineer, and we're in agreement of providing some additional spaces based on how we've agreed the legislation would apply here. So we believe 27 total spaces will be provided. So that's an adjustment we'll make to ensure we comply with the New Jersey requirement. I do want to note that the New Jersey's electric vehicle rule does allow us to take credit for additional parking spaces. Without counting any credit towards our total, we still more than comply. So we're not going to add the confusion that the EV credit tends to at this moment. It's simply put, we meet parking requirement without any credit for EV. We meet and exceed the requirement. Sidewalks are provided throughout the site, as well as multiple connection points to public sidewalks along the frontage on all 3 of our fronting streets to enhance pedestrian access. We are additionally going to propose a crosswalk across from the primary entrance to the apartment to enhance and improve pedestrian access to the existing parking lot across the street. There wasn't one there before, but that was a recommendation from the board professionals, which we are happy to accommodate.
Just a couple of site-related elements that I'd like to talk about, because these questions do come up. Deliveries will occur at the community building on the site, which will have a secure package room for receiving shipments. In addition to larger and less frequent operations, such as tenant movements, for other things, we have the ability to strike an on-street loading space, which we're proposing along Somerset, on this plan to use the main entrance of the apartment building, near their main lobby. Refuse and recycling collection for residents will be collected from two proposed enclosures. One is going to be at the rear or the northwest corner of parking lot on lot 7. That will be the top. It falls just off this exhibit here, but it'll be thank you. It'll be in the back corner of that parking lot. And the other is within the site, to the south of the apartment building on lot 1. That enclosure will be situated a place towards the development, and the sides will be shielded with landscape planters. Collection will be by private hauler on an estimated frequency. In addition to the on-street parking improvements I mentioned, we're striping an additional 21 parking spaces. The project will also incorporate some additional improvements to modify the traffic flow at the intersection of Hamilton and Lafayette. Specifically, we're proposing to upgrade the intersection to a mini roundabout. That was pursuant to a recommendation we received through the process by the Borough's Pedestrian Bicycle Safety Advisory Committee. The purpose of the mini roundabout.
Can you point that out on the picture?
Yes.
Like a Laker pointer or something?
I actually do. Will you have that one?
Yeah.
I do. That is going to be at the, see where that is? That's the intersection of Lafayette and
Lafayette and what?
Hamilton. At this intersection. I could go back here from, otherwise I fall off the microphone. So I'll explain this just a little bit. The purpose of a mini roundabout is to provide traffic calming to slow traffic and safety for pedestrians and bicyclists. This mini roundabout would fit within the existing carway, within the existing pavement, so it wouldn't be outside the limit of the current intersection. It consists mainly of striping improvements, channelizing of the lanes. The center circle or island in there, that is slightly raised. It has a zero reveal edge, so large vehicles, the fire truck, any larger turning vehicle has the ability to turn directly over that. Obviously, the intent is for vehicles to enter, passenger vehicles just to circulate through it. And the change in the traffic movement is basically in this scenario, in place of what's today two-way stop, there's stop signs on Lafayette, and Hamilton is through, and it just goes through the intersection. All approaching traffic would come to a yield at entry to the roundabout.
Can I just interrupt you for 1 second?
Sure.
Are you gonna be giving testimony about traffic, or are we gonna have the traffic engineer?
No, we're gonna have the traffic engineer. It's just, he's still gonna do an overview for us. So I was gonna get to that. So questions about the traffic and about the roundabout should be addressed to the traffic engineer when
This
he
is
comes
just an
up.
overview.
This is just an overview on this.
So the traffic engineer may be able to provide some more information on that, yes. I'm discussing it in context of the site plan. Also, there were some comments in the potential review, so I felt it was appropriate just to provide some. These are still somewhat new. There's more of them popping up in New Jersey, but I thought it was worth just going to some detail for the board and the public's benefit. Make sure I didn't miss anything on that. As I was saying, it's all yield to traffic in the roundabout as well as to pedestrian traffic at the crosswalks. And also pursuant to my discussion with traffic engineer for the board, we're willing to make any adjustments to any recommendations on the geometry or the striping on this to address some locations of the crosswalk. So certainly it's a condition that we will work to ensure we address all the consultant comments. We just touched on this a moment ago. A traffic report was prepared and submitted with this application. That report was prepared to include calculations of vehicle trips based upon the ITE trip generation current edition manual. As demonstrated in that report, the project will result in no significant impact on surrounding roadway systems and no impact to level of service of surrounding intersections. Our traffic engineer is present this evening in case there are questions regarding the submitted traffic report. A couple more site-related items that you want to speak about. There is a proposed ground sign, and that is in vicinity of, right in vicinity of the roundabout. Right here is where the proposed ground sign is going to be, to identify this site. It's going to measure a maximum of 4 square feet, for the lettering and area. It's being proposed on a garden wall that's going to be visible from the intersection. The sign complies with all applicable standards of the zoning ordinance. There's a detail of it actually provided on the architectural plan that was submitted to the board as well. Additionally, the improvements, site improvements will include lighting and landscaping improvements. Site lighting will be provided with a combination of building mounted and pole mounted LED fixtures. The site parking and public areas will be illuminated with a total of 14 light poles along with 18 building mounted light fixtures. Pole fixtures will be at a 20-foot mounted fixture height on lot 7, which is the northerly lot. On lot 1, it's a 16-foot height for the fixtures. The majority of those fixtures on lot 1 are actually building mounted, and they're all in the interior of the lot where they do illuminate the parking and pedestrian areas along site. Site lighting is designed to comply with all municipal standards and minimize light spillage onto any parcels and properties. In addition, we have along the perimeter of the site, buildings, driveways, parking lots, and site frontage, a variety of landscaping, including trees, shrubs, and grasses. Just in summary, the plan submitted, we include 57 deciduous trees throughout the property, 310 evergreen and deciduous shrubs, and various ground covers and perennials. Among that count is 15 street trees, as well as all the plantings along 10-foot landscape setbacks that are along the buildings facing municipal roadways. Briefly touching on utilities and stormwater management, our project will be served by existing or new connections to public utilities, which exist on all the surrounding roadways. That includes electric, telecommunications, water, and sanitary sewer. This project has also been carefully designed to address stormwater management as outlined in the stormwater report submitted for this application. I also want to emphasize, and it's as a redevelopment project, we have a great advantage that this project is proposing substantial reduction in impervious surfaces of more than a half an acre, and that's a notable improvement because when you reduce impervious, it helps reduce the total volume and rate of runoff, which isn't always common. So we're going to be reducing the volume and rate of stormwater compared to the existing condition today. Our office is also in receipt of some comments from the board's engineer about stormwater management, and as a result, we've been working in collaboration with them and to provide a revised stormwater management design, which is going to address their comments and meet all the applicable standards and requirements. I can confirm that this is going to incorporate additional green infrastructure measures, which are in accordance with the DEP stormwater management rules. We're going to be including pervious pavements throughout the main parking lot on lot 1, as well, and paver systems, which are going to provide additional control and storage of stormwater on site, which helps pull back and slow down the rate of runoff that leaves the site and meets the applicable standards. These measures will comply with those standards that are required by the DEP, by the state and all municipalities. Ultimately, they also are approved by your board engineer and will be getting approvals from other agencies of jurisdiction, the DEP, the FCD. So in summary on stormwater, our post-development condition will result in great improvement over the existing condition through a reduction in impervious cover, through provision of green infrastructure measures through these pervious pavements, and the overall improvement in control of surface runoff and conveyance of stormwater from the site to the downstream systems will be an improvement over what's serving the site today. So just in summary, the proposed site improvements are in compliance with the development plan. They require no variance or relief from municipal ordinances. We're providing more than the required amount of parking to serve the site, and we will comply with all standards and requirements of the borough as well as other agencies having jurisdiction. That's my direct testimony overall. Should I take a moment to mention or?
Sure, yeah.
I just want to note, we have received, a number of, letters from the board professionals. We received, board planners report dated January 23rd, board engineers report dated January 30th, and, the board traffic engineers report dated January, 12th. I've had a chance to speak with, almost all of them. Sorry, Joanne, I didn't have a chance to call you. Although I think the engineer and the traffic letter, I wanted to speak with them as the particular, but I've had a chance to speak with them all and review their comments. In general, we believe we can comply with all their comments as written or work with them to address any remaining concerns they have for this application. And we're looking forward to working with them to do so.
Hey, that does concludes his direct testimony.
So I have a question about, the cleanup of the site. Are you prepared to testify about that or anything else?
Probably better directed to.
I can,
Okay,
I
I'll
can try to
let
answer.
this witness just be questioned about his questions and we can talk about the cleanup in another.
Okay. Your choice.
Oh, okay. Does anybody have any questions? I have a couple. So the first one is, the proposed traffic circle. Are you gonna need any more, of the street than is currently available now? You don't have to make that any bigger.
No, we do not. This particular improvement can be constructed entirely within the current curves. It's
Okay.
really more restriping than anything else.
And as regarding the lighting for the site, have you looked at the dark skies recommendations for that?
We have, dark sky, and we evaluated on a number of parameters. There's the bug ratings, there's dark sky.
Right.
I spoke with our lighting professional today about it. We definitely meet all the required bug ratings. We're like 95% dark sky. There's a couple of fixtures that if we make an adjustment, we can comply with that.
Okay.
So we're able to if that's desired.
I mean, we have a lot of things to talk about, but I'd really be happy if we could.
Well, but that seems like an obvious thing that we would say, if you're willing to do that, let's just make that a condition down and just move on to more important questions.
Yeah, there's, I believe it's the four posts around the community center that if we make an adjustment, we're dark sky compliant. Good, so we'll do that.
Do you have any improvements planned for the lighting on the parking lot site?
Yes, we are going to be, I think it was 18 light poles that we're gonna be putting on that site because it's really not adequately lit today and we need to light it at least for minimum safety standards. So that's all we're gonna be doing on that lot is to make sure there's enough lighting for that purpose.
And just for clarity, those will be shielded so that it'll face down, you're not gonna get any
It's
glare.
all, they're all downward directed LED fixtures. And that's the maximum height is 20 feet, which is not very tall for light fixtures, and that's on the northerly lot, so they're shorter on the lot that's in the community and closer to the residents.
And the color lighting, rating on those lights will be
3000 K, that's what we're going with, which is just a little bit brighter than a warm light, but it's not a daylight or anything like that.
That'd be.
Probably a little, not as much, yeah.
About the operations, hours of operation. There was some comment, I forget, in one of our engineers reports about.
Timing and motion control.
Yes, we have more flexibility with overnight controls these days, which is great. The lighting is on dawn to dusk, but not at full power. We typically call for bringing it down to 50%. I think our standard note actually says in the plan an hour after closure of business, because we use that same note on a lot of commercial developments. We could adjust that, draw down to a particular time if that's desired. That's a detail. If the board's professionals are able to give us feedback, we can address it that way. It's a matter of that. These systems, they drop down to 50% power after hours, at later hours, and there's usually a motion sensor that could be incorporated in that if the car pulls in, lights can pop up to full power.
I'd actually,
Yeah. The minimum lighting necessary for safety is what we want. We want it as dark as possible. I want it as dark as possible,
So-
without,
Endangering safety.
without endangering.
So what I was gonna say was that, 50% is a good starting point, but what I'd like to do is leave it up to our engineers to go back out on the site after everything is built out and look at it and say, you know, can you bring it down another 10% or whatever? So we'll leave it in the hands of our engineers to determine, you know, how low we can get that.
We'd be happy to work with your engineers on that. That's always easier because I'll turn to my lighting professionals and say, does this work? And are we appropriate? Safety is the key, but I agree. I'd rather keep them lower when we can.
And that is in the parking lot area, right? The
Yes.
motion sensors is not gonna occur on the main site? Is that also?
We could put it on either and we could make whatever adjustments desirable for that. If,
Anything that you can see from the street, I would say. needs to be-
So we'll work with professionals to identify appropriate light level and controls.
So did you have a question for them? Oh, okay.
I did,
Yeah.
but I answered my own question.
Okay. Thought I saw your hand up.
Can we go back to the presentation and just, there's crosswalks and improvements on crosswalks that you're proposing. Can you point them out and where exactly
Yes,
they
I
are?
can, and I could reach over here, I just know the public won't see where I'm pointing, you're asking a question, so I'm trying to stay close to the speaker too. So let me talk about what's not shown on the plan first, which is, right here across Somerset Street, we're gonna strike a new crosswalk to delineate the crossing. It's a crossing that was there before, but it's not striped due to prior use. So that will provide a delineated route to get from the northerly parking lot. On our site, we have a couple of crosswalks, which that's really for dealing with our site and where the public sidewalk's gonna come up to one of our driveways. Other than at the roundabout, all the existing crosswalks that are on the public roads are gonna remain. The final placement of crosswalks down here, we'll work with the board's traffic engineers to make sure we're consistent with the appropriate design standards for a roundabout. And when I looked at it, I believe that this sidewalk crosswalk that I show on Hamilton is roughly in the appropriate spot. The one we've shown here striped on the west leg of Lafayette, I believe we're gonna have to move that further from the intersection, which makes more sense. We don't have any other crossings, so there are no existing crosswalks on the other approaches. And pedestrian access is also part of your question, I think.
Pardon me?
Did you ask about pedestrian access from the site or just the crosswalk?
No, just at the crosswalk.
Would you, do me a favor and point them out here so that, the members of the audience can see what you were.
Yes, very happy. I'm just gonna walk over that. If you're looking from the side of the room. So the existing crosswalk, which I think we accidentally whited out, will still remain at Hamilton Avenue here near the intersection with Somerset. There's gonna be a new crosswalk here to provide access from the northerly parking lot to our building here. There's two existing crosswalks at this intersection of Hamilton and Lafayette. They're to accommodate the roundabout. They'll be moved back a distance from the intersection, so they're before where the cars queue up to go in. There'll be signage at those crosswalks for pedestrian crossing, which is now appropriate. And this one here, that's depicted a little closer to the intersection. We spoke with the board's traffic engineer. We're gonna move that one further away, so it'll be in the appropriate spot for them. And make sure that works. So those are all the locations.
The other next question I had is the striped parking on Lafayette and on Hamilton, I think that is. Are those counted in your 209?
Those are counted in the 209, yeah, 21 straight down the street.
Okay, 'cause I know someone testified about that. I didn't catch it.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, counted on parkings?
Can you repeat that?
We're allowed to credit, and I think I should have that written. We're allowed to credit so many on-street toward our number. I believe it's 10%.
Yeah, 10% in the redevelopment plan.
So are those gonna be dedicated sites for the complex? And I'm just thinking about what happens if the street's snow covered? What happens if there's a party at the house across the street? So it's also available.
To clarify, they're not dedicated on street. We're
we have the ability to provide spaces on the street, so we're proposing them.
Okay.
So it's, first come, first serve on the street, but I want to just reiterate the numbers if there's a concern. 209 total spaces. Even if I take out those 21, we're still above the 180 requirement by looking at that.
And those spaces on the street, when you say they're not dedicated just to the residents of the development, they're just available parking spaces for anybody.
That's correct.
I think with the crosswalks are, it really wasn't clear where on the street those crosswalks can be from what.
I can show that again, sure.
Thanks.
So there'll be a new crosswalk across Somerset at that, here's the apartment building I was talking about before. Between the first and second existing parking lot aisles, if you've been out there, we'll put a crosswalk there.
I don't want to interrupt you, that will be before Somerset? Before Somerset?
That's across Somerset. Okay, so I got Somerset up here. We're gonna put a crosswalk right here where the R is. Let me go to this side of the site. There's an existing crosswalk that doesn't show here, but there is one here across Hamilton at Somerset and Railroad. And if you come down, thank you, Micah. At this intersection here, today, this is where I said you got a two-way stop today and it's straight through to Hamilton. There's a crosswalk here today and a crosswalk here today. They'll still be there. We're just gonna move them back further from the intersection. So you still have a crosswalk.
You'll move on that way.
Yeah, one will move, this one across Hamilton will move a little bit to the north. This one here across Lafayette will move a little bit to the west.
But how far?
Roughly a car length.
There's an oak tree with a
You know,
car like.
Yeah, we can't do
Yeah,
that.
folks,
Okay.
you know, we'll have to save that for the questions.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, the final locations for the crosswalks, we have to adjust at the roundabout. We'll work with the board's professionals and integrate them where it's appropriate to put them.
You talked about the parking plan, in the interior of the complex around movement of emergency equipment, trash pickup, have you looked at the sight lines of each one of these angles of turning inside there?
Yes.
To make sure that an emergency fire engine or some other emergency equipment has to get inside there? Have you
Yes,
looked at that?
We did. We've evaluated the turning and the sight lines. And we know we have to comply with the sight lines and we've evaluated that and determined we can. We may make some adjustments with our landscaping, just for one movement, but otherwise we were able to comply with that.
Okay, and egress to the site and exit from the site, you looked at the sight lines there for people exiting the site safely, right?
Yes. Yes, and on Lafayette, our driveway's in a similar but not the same location, so it's very similar to having the driveway there today. One nice thing is we are eliminating one of the three driveways that serve the site today, so there won't be a driveway at the Hamilton anymore. So it'll be the Somerset driveway and the Lafayette, but we evaluated all that.
And is it one way in, one way out, or is it
It's two-way flow.
two-way flow? Okay.
So a plow truck can get in and out, you can see around the mounds of snow. Since we're covering it now.
You can, in my house.
With the current snow cover, I don't know how I want to answer that.
But plow, I have heard complaints about plow trucks not necessarily able to get through suburban area, cul-de-sacs. So is it plow friendly?
It actually is relatively plow friendly. There's some room, along the side and this side to pile snow and the applicant, of course, will be required, will be running this property to keep it clean, and it's going to behoove them to make sure they are keeping their sightlines and their driveways, otherwise the residents will hear it. They'll hear from the residents. So no, we don't have any concerns about that. Thank you.
Has the fire official mentioned anything about, fire lane striping or any kind of reserved areas?
Okay, we did. We.
Sure. If I could, the fire official is here and
Okay.
we have worked extensively with them. If you would like to hear directly from him.
That was gonna be my question. Have our people, yes, viewed this?
So why don't we swear him in and, yeah. Sure.
Yep, Andrew Christina, at the West Pine Road. I do swear firm tell the truth, Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so, sorry. Okay. Yeah, thank you, board. Thank you for hearing me this evening. I've met with, Mr. Albert, on more than one occasion. We met with the, fire chief and the, fire officers at Hopewell Borough Fire Company. We have a list of conditions, many, or requests, I would say. And they've been very accommodating. I've seen circulating plans for fire apparatus that are willing to add fire hydrant for us. That's not currently shown. Fire striping was discussed. Many things. I will have a formal document for the board. I was just waiting. I'm almost done. We're almost there. I just wanted to button up a couple of things that we have to use with them, but it's been a very positive experience. So if you had any direct questions that I can clear up, be happy to.
The trucks can get in and get out,
It-
turn around and fast and.
Yeah, based on
as
the drawing that they have provided, we provided the specifications for the apparatus. Based on their turning models, it will work. Yeah.
And you're confident, pardon me, with the EV, all the EV vehicles there, if there was an issue, you'd be able to handle a fire?
So one of the things that we talked about is having basically an emergency power off for the charging stations. Not necessarily required by code. They're agreeable to do that to a location that's suitable. So we don't have to go find a circuit breaker somewhere to turn off a car that's charging.
And you'd be able to, therefore, put the fire out?
As best as we can put out emergency electric vehicles at this point in time, yes, hopefully we'll have some better technology down the road, but yeah, they're challenging in general.
Yeah. I'm reassured that our people have.
Yeah, we're
signed
absolutely.
off on it.
Yeah, we've looked at it and, like I said, I have a 3 or 4 page document that we're just about ready to send it to them.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Have you finished your testimony?
Direct testimony, yes.
Yes. Okay. Anything else from, our professionals?
I have some questions, Candace. You go ahead. Okay. First, let's talk about the dumpster. So you have one adjacent to the apartment building and then one over on the parking lot.
Yes.
Can you just describe sort of, that seems like it's really far away, the one on the Somerset parking lot. What the use of that is that, gonna be like a bulk dumpster?
May I answer?
It might be more operational.
Because it is a little more operational. Two things to say. One is that often people who are going to their cars, from their apartment to their cars will take their garbage with them. So that's why we try to locate them in the parking lot. Two is that in most of our communities, we actually have a service that actually picks up garbage from the residents. And the service itself takes it to the dumpsters, so the residents themselves don't have to do it. So we located the dumpsters where we thought would be appropriate in either case.
Okay. Thank you. That dumpster along, the dumpster adjacent to the apartment building has some landscaping on it. I just would recommend maybe some more evergreen to landscape that and not just, I think it's an ash or
We'd
a
be
maple.
absolutely willing to
some
do that
shrubs.
and provide a little more buffer for that.
Okay.
Good for us.
The crosswalk to Somerset, I know, we had originally had a comment about having some sort of traffic sign to say no outlet going down Somerset so that cars weren't going past the parking lot and then having to turn around at the dead end.
We can add that signage, sure.
Is there a no outlet sign on that road already?
I don't think that, no,
There is not.
Going back to the landscaping, so the parking lot on opposite of Somerset, where the banked parking is, what type of buffer are you gonna provide for the adjacent property, which is fine?
We were evaluating some options, more than likely it's going to involve some kind of a fence, I think, because it's the existing surface, which we're making just repairs to it there today, and it does come close to that property line. If there's a way to do landscaping with that, we'd like to, at the minimum, I think we'll have solid fence.
Okay.
To provide,
And-
'cause today you can see right in, and the objective would be to give something there that isn't today to buffer the view.
For like headlight glare and things like that, okay. I think that's all I have for now, oh, recycling, we're going back to the garbage, so do you do recycling the same way as you do the refuse, and it's gonna be, okay?
Yes.
And the townhouse along the front, those will be cans?
Correct.
Okay.
And storage for those cans or, is there some place where that would be shielded?
Yes,
Because each individual unit will now have a can, right?
yes, we provide that.
That's it for me right now.
Cans?
So I wanted to go a little bit through my review letter, so a couple of points. First, on B1 with regards to the calculation of the required parking. Can you speak to, the difference between, the ordinance requirements and the RFIS?
Yes, I can. So, the redevelopment ordinance laid out a parking requirement to serve this kind of development of 1.5 off-street parking spaces for each new dwelling unit. The residential site improvement standards, the RSIS, which the board knows, but for the public's benefit, that's a guide document for that applies to all residential development throughout the state of New Jersey. That establishes certain parking standards. One interesting thing is just recently, they've actually clarified that it stipulates parking requirements that are the maximum that are expected to be provided. Those calculations tend to be a little traditional in the estimates of parking volumes, which don't necessarily work in all settings, but it's still the standard everyone points to. So we have a different number of parking that's required for this lot than the RSIS, which is not necessarily a problem. It's just a note, and based on David's letter, we're gonna just add the calculation to the plan for record. But we don't really have a compliance issue since the RSIS has changed it to a stipulated as a maximum required number of spaces as opposed to a minimum. That stipulation has actually led to some confusion in front of boards, so if this sounds new, it's because it was a recent change in the way they approach that. But that's the interpretation we have from the RSIS from DCA.
Ken, you okay with that?
Okay. And then I had, just going through a little bit more, the next comment I had was related to, approvals required. Specifically, the status of the DP, submittal, and what that entails, and then how that relates to your stormwater design.
Absolutely. So there's, like any project, there's a lot of other agencies with jurisdiction. We're here first before the town, this is where we need to start, of course. We'll be concurrently filing some other applications. We're just about prepared to file some applications with the Department of Environmental Protection. In particular for this site, because we have the water course that runs through the site, and the water course does have some flood hazard areas associated with it. We need to prepare and file what they call an individual permit. We're also going to be filing what the department calls a verification, which just identifies the flood areas. Verification says here's the flood area the state approves based on our analysis. The permit says this is what we're seeking approval from. As part of the DEP's review, they will look at a number of things. They'll look at our calculations related to the site and the stream. They'll look at our stormwater calculations. We've carefully gone through the rules to ensure that what we submit to the state is in compliance with those rules. They're an agency, they'll make their comments, but we're confident what we're gonna be presenting to the state and what we've put before the board here is something that is approvable at the state level. They just have to put it through its paces like any agency.
Was that revised as a result of the new revisions in the stormwater rules?
We're addressing that as part of the updates we're making, the stormwater revisions, which we spoke with your board engineer about earlier. So the green infrastructure standards are there. I believe we meet all the other standards. We're in a gray period with the new rules and things, but even under the new rules, which the flood hazard component of the new rules are really more geared to the tidal flood elevation. We're not tidal here, we're in what they call the fluvial flood elevation, which is not influenced by the ocean. So as far as that goes, we expect to be compliant with those new rules.
I was just gonna ask, besides DEP, are there any other approvals you need besides the boroughs?
Yes.
Can you list those just one by one?
Yes, and we just for record, we do include them on the key map sheet 2 of our submitted site plan set. And so some agencies, it's more of a formality, but we'll be filing with the Middlesex County Planning Board.
Mercer.
Excuse me, it actually says Mercer right on my plan. I don't know which county we're in. We're in Mercer County Planning Board. Thank you. The Mercer County Soil Conservation District, the DEP for flood hazard area permit that I mentioned. The utilities for development like this sometimes also require certain DEP approvals. We're expecting to file a treatment works approval for approving sanitary connections. We may or may not need a water main extension permit. I know there's been a change with the utilities, so if it's all we're American Water now, Candace?
New Jersey American.
New Jersey American. So we may or may not need a water extension permit. We'll work out with the utility company. We've already filed a letter of interpretation under the wetlands rules with the DEP. Approved. That's been approved. Thank you, but it's been approved. So just to identify that effectively the water course along our site is also considered a state open water or wetland. We just need to file a determination for applicability with the Delaware Canal Commission. It's anything in their watershed, they just ask you to file something to confirm if it's applicable. I think that's everything that we're just aware of.
EPA?
Sorry?
EPA?
For the site development, these documents, not specifically, but I'm gonna keep separate from the remediation part of the project. I mean, fair enough. Yep.
Is there gonna be, in any of these buildings, is there gonna be a basement in any of these buildings?
There is going to be.
Yes, yes, the architectural testimony will give you a little more detail on it. But yes, there, a portion of the 4-story building will have a basement.
And you didn't mention gas as a utility.
Yeah, we're gonna be 100% electric, there's gonna be no gas.
No gas, okay.
That's on that, on the power, or is that for another time?
Go ahead.
So for power, where are we getting all of this power, the energy?
Electric company, they're gonna have to apply for construction. I know that's the obvious answer. I forget where.
Can we,
PSC.
do we have the power? We have the capability to provide that kind of power?
We have every indication that we do. The plant itself was a very high user for electricity.
Okay.
So we have no indication that there's an issue with electric.
Have you considered solar at all, or is this not the time or place? Looks like
We have,
opportunity.
you'll hear again in architecture, I'm stepping on the architectural presentation, but we were preparing for solar, but we're not proposing it specifically at this time.
Okay. Thank you.
Did you finish your?
I think that, the applicant had mentioned, already about the stormwater design, so we are, he's reworking some of that. So we'll have to, that's a pending, consideration yet. And the other, primary, I guess, issue that I noted was in the, redevelopment agreement. There's some stipulations during construction, so some of that is, something that I'd asked them to, update their plan to show some of those areas that are required. So that again is a pending, consideration for.
Specifically what?
There is some, areas of, wash down, that I thought was necessary to be added to the plans. During the, remediation and then with the construction ongoing, but that's a future consideration. But that is something that I asked them
We
to
can add
update.
any of those demarcations or notes on our plan. We'd be happy to.
And so other than that, I discussed with, them already, some of the remaining comments that we had and, they had testified that they could address them.
So the runoff from the roof and where the mechanicals are and those things, you talked with them about?
So not the mechanicals, I expect that the architect might, testify to that. Fact, the runoff from the roof, relates to the stormwater design. So all that is, in a pending, revision.
So you're speaking, the runoff you're speaking of is during the demo process to keep the.
Yeah, my previous comment related more to the demo and construction and coordinating. So
And the sewer capacity, we've been in touch with sewer.
the sewer capacity, again, is, preview of the applicant to.
Because you had recommended that there be a written.
Yes, yeah, so that we have confidence that, there's sewer capacity, water capacity, as you had asked already about the electrical load. So some of those items that we're waiting for.
And I understand, it's my understanding that you guys have agreed to do everything that is in her memo, correct?
Yes,
So,
yeah, we don't see any
Yeah.
concern with being able to comply.
No, that's
with
okay, just
the
wanted-
memo.
All right, if I don't have any other questions from up here, I'm gonna open it up to the public.
Oh,
yeah.
just real quickly, do you have any, bike racks or storage for bikes? Do you have that in plan?
We can
We
accommodate
do,
that, yeah.
in the basement, we're gonna have extensive bike storage, but we also have bike storage on the surface. Near the, community building.
And just for purposes of clarity, I know you said you can comply with all the conditions. Were there any conditions specifically in any of the three reports that you disagree with or can't comply with? Was there anything you want to call out? Because, I would take complying with all conditions as complying with all conditions. So I just want to make sure if there's anything that you can't comply with or disagree with, just please put it on the record so we can talk about it.
I believe we're fine. I've had a chance to speak with if the professionals have any concerns of anything I missed, by all means, but.
So we're gonna take that as a yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
But can I just quickly add on to that you've agreed to everything that's been specifically called out and that is specifically requested in our professionals memos.
There's some
But
things that
issues
haven't
that
been.
are, exactly,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, but there's things in the memos that we haven't gone through. There's a lot of
Exactly.
technical little things that, for example, our engineer pointed out that need to be added to the plan and updated. Those are all gonna be part of the condition, because it's gonna read that you would have to,
Yes.
yeah.
And just in a broader sense, there's elements where we're happy to work with the professionals to clarify
Right, and
their
issues
questions and
raised
see if
and-
there's
With traffic.
if there's a need for a certain solution, if it doesn't apply anymore, things like that, but. We'll clean up the loose ends that way, certainly.
Okay. David, I think, he had his hand up first, so.
David Ackerman, ACKERMAN.
Swear from tell the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
So I would like you, Mr. Mayor, to tell us why you have 14 lights mounted 20 feet high on the building.
We have that number And that height, to minimize the number of light poles, we would need to provide a minimal safe level of lighting on that parking lot. We've tried to situate them on the interior of the light to keep them from the perimeters. And we've submitted it with light levels that we believe are appropriate and that the professionals have a chance to review.
I would encourage you to reconsider that in favor of putting light poles and bollards around the walkways, if that's the purpose was to light the walkways, as opposed to having glare bombs across the building. I would also encourage you to use 2200 Kelvin and as a compromise, 2700.
We're gonna limit you to questions here. At the end, you can make your statement,
Fine.
and, you know.
Why 3000 Kelvin and not preferred?
1000 provides a level of lighting that we've found suitable lighting, but is it too glaring? If you've ever made a mistake of buying a
It
light bulb
sounds
by
obvious. I
accident.
want to move on. I don't agree with you. The question of adequate lighting, what is adequate illuminance in a parking lot, in your opinion?
So in our case here, specifically, we're looking to be like that lot.
That lighting plan is on our website, is it not?
That is part of the
Yeah,
record document submitted.
If it's in detail, then that's great.
Yeah, it's absolutely, you can find it there, but
We identify the average foot candle across all the parking lots within both lots, 0.5, which is, that's about as low as you want to have an average number for a public parking lot. We're keeping it as low.
Have you not heard people want 0.2? That's a question. Anyway, the last point is that in terms of your BUG ratings, we as a town are moving toward an ordinance. We don't have one yet, which is why I'm concerned about all this. That we have a B rating of 1 and 0 for uplight and glare. We encourage you to push on that and to back away from the wall mounted lights.
Thank you.
yes. Garth. We will get to everybody, I promise.
Well, should we agree? REPD, 21 East Broad Street.
You swear for intelligence.
I do. It's Beansburg, not.
How local you are.
Whatever he was on, A4. Yeah. So I grew up across the street and I agree with everything that you're saying here.
You're on Hamilton?
I was on 14 Hamilton Avenue. But as I see it with how many parking spaces? 200 parking spaces?
The total is 209, there's 67 on this lot.
Doesn't matter, right?
Or
So
behind the house.
the problem is gonna be at the end of Hamilton Avenue on Broad Street, okay? When you're making a left.
Yeah. Clark, we're trying to do
Okay, well, I
questions.
just wanted to get it out in front of the site plan because.
Well, we're gonna have a traffic guy and go over that.
All right,
And
so
if it's a
I'll-
question, Clark, happy to answer the question if it's a.
Okay, so what is your plan for the end of Hamilton Avenue for the people who want to go left because the backup is gonna be insane?
That will definitely be a traffic guy. We will have a traffic engineer that's gonna talk about that.
Just two other things quickly. As far as the gym is concerned, is that just for the people that live there? Are there gonna be memberships? Are you gonna make money on it?
I'm gonna let the.
It's for the people, for the people who live there.
Just for the people who live?
Correct.
Okay. Have you considered the sign? It's a little ostentatious, but I think with the community, and they may disagree, you might be better served in considering a playground, a small playground.
Clark, questions, please.
Okay, that's it. I'm asking you to consider it.
We haven't considered the playground.
Okay. You might want to consider the fact that you don't need a dog.
Melissa,
Thank you. I have, yeah, if you can keep that up,
You were sworn in already.
I don't know, but I promise, I swear.
They can't hear me. I swear.
If you know me, you know that's true. I have several questions. The street parking, that's because we just assume that the minimum is hundred and 80 cars, if I figured that out correctly. It's 1.5 cars per, right. So if there's 21 spaces, first of all, my question is, when they have to clear the snow, where are they going? The train station can only hold a few, so what would happen to those people? That's a question. And
You wanna let him answer the question?
Sure. I don't think he has an answer. I don't know what the
That's
answer
a
is.
tough one because now I'm on the public street and I'm not gonna wade into what the ordinances are for when you're supposed to move cars in town, because I'm not familiar with those. but
Okay,
it's
so
no
it just,
problem.
it would be,
No parking on streets when there's snow covered.
Thank you, sir.
right, so that's a question, so that's, okay.
That's the answer.
As far as, can you show me where the dumpsters are on here, please?
Yes.
I couldn't see.
And, you know, it is a tricky one.
Here are the dumpsters.
There's one here that we've tried to tuck in the corner of the driveway, just below the apartment building. The other one falls just off the map, back in that corner of the parking lot.
Okay, so it's, okay.
Borough.
I own that one building there, so I didn't want the dumpster, not the big one, the little one.
That one. Oh,
That's
sorry.
me. Okay, so I just didn't want where'd we go? Okay, so the dumpster would be all the way back there, okay. And then, thank you. As far as, the lighting in there, how will it affect, because that's a row of parking along there.
Yeah.
If that's a parking lot, there's going to be considerable lighting. I don't know how that would affect my property, which has a backyard that is used to show movies and things like that. So that's, I'm curious about what kind of,
We've designed it for ensuring we don't have light spillage. When we ran the numbers, we have 0-foot candles across the property.
okay,
It's very low along the edge of
Okay,
the
great.
property, and we were committing to put a fence or some kind of buffer along the edge, so that'll help.
it'll be pretty. Where do you, that's his good neighbors.
As if it's nothing for these.
Okay, that answers that. Are there the spots within the community? Are they reserved spots for people?
No.
So everybody just sort of just goes and where are these tandem spots?
So the tandems are on, those are the ones, they're like the double deep that are on this side. That come up by your
Wait, can you
property
zoom
line.
back out? I don't know what I'm
I'm a
looking
little
at.
close.
So the tandems are going to be in the parking lot?
So when you pull into it's only along the side that's existing concrete that's gonna be the parking lot. Which looks like it's already right.
That is a piece of concrete that space between where my fence is and where the parking lot is, there is a strip of concrete.
Yeah, and that's why we're gonna put buffer along the edge of that.
Okay, that's great. Are there going to be, electric charging stations on the big parking lot?
Yes.
We're looking into adding some in addition to what's on the site plan. I don't have the exact location, but I do not expect them to be on your side because I don't have room on that side.
Okay. You were talking about loading, something being loading on Somerset? What's
Yeah.
being loaded?
You go to the next exhibit, please. So in addition to the on-street parking spaces, all the way at the end of our property here, so we back out just a little bit on that, so thank you. So I'm on Somerset Street here, just to the east of where the apartment entrance is. I have 3 parking spaces striped. This is where we're gonna put that crosswalk for residents.
Mhm.
Here, we're gonna stripe this for on-street loading. We're not expecting much use of that.
What
but
does
we're-
loading mean?
Move-ins.
Move-in.
Okay,
So if something larger than FedEx shows up and
Gotcha,
they just
okay.
don't wanna come on our site, they can go here.
okay, that's great. Sorry, there's just give me 1 second to look at my notes. Sorry.
No problem.
Oh, during remediation, I'm particularly concerned about, how it will be handled and how the traffic will be handled for our business as well as the tomato factory. They have a bigger parking lot. We only have 6 spaces. But I'm concerned about that. That's a concern, it's a question, what,
There are a lot of provisions in the redevelopment plan and the redevelopment agreement actually as to traffic flow and so forth during demolition
okay,
to minimize the effect it might have on all the neighbors, not just on your
Right.
side. So,
okay, and I'm just concerned about the, I know I've been told, but, with remediation, what's being put into the air and what,
Well, we'll get that. We're gonna have
that's another
somebody
one?
testify
I didn't
on
ask that
yeah,
question.
yeah.
And let me just check one more, I think that's, what? Oh, on Somerset, are those apartments that are facing there? Do they enter through there? Or is that just a flat
The
back?
main building,
Mhm. So on Somerset, are
the
those,
main entrance is on this side, there's another entrance on the rear side on the.
okay, so there's no, exit or entrance to those apartments on Somerset except through that door?
No, the units or the architect will talk more about this. But units
Okay,
are-
I'm just trying to get a visual,
No, you're not.
well, people are good. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you.
Yes.
You just state your name already, you were on the record.
Yes, Alex Spellman. Fellman. I guess I'll start here since the exhibit is up. Can you zoom in on the traffic circle again? So that's my house on the northwest corner, yes. And that's why I'm getting my question on the record that the oak tree is not going to be impacted by the moved crosswalk.
I'm gonna write that down.
Okay, because I've already lost a tree, so don't lose the oak.
Oh.
And my next question is, are there going to be security cameras on the property?
That's a little more operations, so I'm gonna defer that one.
I really can't answer. I don't know, honestly. I mean, it's a perfectly honest answer. I'm just not sure.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes we do and sometimes we don't, but, so I just don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I think if I can ask for some consideration of if there would be security cameras, where they would be placed, the impact on
They would only be,
neighboring
well,
properties.
this I can say, to the extent that we would put them at all, they'd be internal to the property and not external.
Okay, all right.
You know, remember though, those are individually owned or inhabited units, so if they get a Ring doorbell, you could still wind up with a.
For the townhouse units, you mean?
Exactly
Yeah.
right, so.
That's true.
Got it. Understood. Yeah. And so I understand that the stormwater plan is being revised.
Yeah.
Can I assume that we're going to see that revised plan in the course of this review and the public will have opportunity to ask questions later? How's that gonna work?
I can give you enough information on it now to say when it's completed and submitted, you're not really going to see much of a difference because we're going to be, we're seeking to put pervious pavement throughout the parking spaces and maybe some of the aisles as needed.
Okay,
That's a green infrastructure measure the state actually encourages. The water seeps through the porous pavement. There are overflow drains in case there's too much water at any given time. And that disperses into the storage bed underneath. And then that storage bed, we can hold back how quickly or slowly the water gets out. So instead of the old big surface basin you used to see on the side of the property, it's internal to the parking. We might also be doing a pervious patio behind the community building. We're just finalizing some numbers. So the short answer is it's gonna look like this.
okay. And, see, no, maybe I misinterpreted this. On the plan, I thought I saw that there was storage under the 4-story building. That's the basement, or is that floodwater
You're
storage?
very astute. We, in order to comply with the flood rules, there's a balancing act with what they call net fill, where you can't displace floodwater. This project is designed not to displace floodwater. It's not so much concern for the board how we do that because it's a concern for the DEP, but it is included in the plans that we do have a portion of And this is not uncommon. It happens in a lot of developments. A portion of this building underneath will be a crawl space that can allow floodwater to come into the kitchen. I have yet to see one of my projects where we've done this actually have floodwaters come up that high, thankfully. But.
You weren't here 3 years ago.
Well, I've seen the floods, I just have not seen it on our project. So that's an accommodation for that, but it's all reviewed and approved by the state. It's a very thorough legal process.
Got it.
That's what that is for.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, I think that's for my questions then.
Rick?
Thanks. You spoke about remediation. Do you have any, estimates or projections from whoever's gonna do the work? What's gonna be involved in the remediation and what they're looking at?
I really can't talk much about the remediation myself. That's not my area on it. So I don't know if I can offer any better.
Have you seen one? As you've reviewed everything, have you seen anything?
Well,
So we just, the soil on the site has been remediated. As I testified before, with the one exception of one portion of the building that they haven't been able to get access to beneath it. The rest of the remediation is groundwater, which is ongoing a pump and treat process, which is going to be going on for multiple decades. That's the extent of the remediation. The soil has all been remediated to residential standards
I think
already
you said
today.
most of it. I think you said some is still not.
I said with the one exception of an area under one portion of the building.
And have they told you what's gonna be involved in that or how long we think that'll be?
But that one portion hasn't been characterized yet, so we just don't know.
So we don't know.
So it depends on what it is. If it's something that can be removed easily and required to be removed, then it will be. If not, sometimes the soil is what's called banded. Something's added to it to make it neutral, but
So as of- bottom line is, as of today, we don't know yet. Is that right?
for that one
For that
portion
one
of soil.
portion.
Correct.
And I think you said the water would be being, beyond.
The water, the groundwater is being constantly remediated through a pump and treat system. Rockwell is the part responsible, and they've been doing this ongoing.
So people will be living over what's being remediated into the future.
The soil will be
No, the water,
remediated.
I'm talking about the water.
That's right.
Well-
As a lot of the, unfortunately, as a lot of the residents on Lafayette Street and elsewhere have groundwater contamination, unfortunately, because the plume has migrated.
Last question for you, for tonight, for now. Who's gonna be doing the remediation?
The Rockwell is responsible for the remediation. Their contractor is a group called Arcadis. Is a very
They'll be
highly
doing the
regarded
soil.
contractor.
They'll be doing soil as well as.
They have done all the soil remediation and will continue to do the balance of the remediation of the soil
All right,
to
thank
the
you.
extent it's necessary.
Okay, thank you.
There's somebody in the back behind Keith there, yeah.
Ada Timiak, T-Y-M-I-A-K.
And you swear from testimony?
I do.
Thank
you. Just some simple questions about the trash. Are you using any of the basement space for collection of the trash? I mean, it's a lot of residents to have to go pretty far for the dumpster.
Well, again, if I could, we generally hire a service that picks up garbage from the residents. And that service actually places it in dumpsters. And it's all a matter of how many collections we have during the week. So it'll all be privately hauled. And the contractor will make certain that there's not anything that's overflowing, it'll be constantly picked up.
So the residents of the apartment building will leave it outside their door or?
Mhm.
Okay.
We like to spoil people as residents.
Okay, so they'll have their trash bins in the hallway
Mhm.
outside their door,
Correct.
and recycling, I assume?
Yes.
And then with the homes on the periphery, is the front facing Lafayette and
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes,
Will the trash cans be in the front then?
they will be in
The
the front
trash and recycling?
to be picked up, correct.
And, I don't know the exact distance, but what is the amount of space? How many feet are between that front of the house and the walkway?
About 15 feet, I think.
Which is the next one.
Is it from the face of the building to the street?
Or
Up
it
the
looked like
side?
it was a balcony or a deck
There
or
is a
something.
little porch.
A little porch, so from the edge of the porch to the edge of the sidewalk.
Probably 10 feet.
We're not less than 10 to the sidewalks generally, but it's 10 to the property line, but then there's the curve, the property line is.
So you'll have some kind of covering for their cans or some kind of shielding or?
I don't know. I think the cans will be out the way they normally are put out. But they're meant to be put out immediately before they're picked up.
But someone in the interior would probably keep their cans, their trash and recycling in the front all the time, because it would be hard for them to walk around to bring it to the street.
There are no
there's
apartments in
nothing.
front, into the center. Everything fronts out onto the street.
That's right.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying, they would store their trash and recycling cans in the front of their house.
No, they'd be inside.
Inside their house?
They're small because they're gonna be picked up frequently.
No, wait. You're talking about the townhouses, you're talking about.
I'm talking about the townhouses now.
So am I.
So you're saying their trash and recycling would be kept inside their house?
Until it's ready to
Until-
be picked up, and it'll be moved to the street and then picked up.
So what you're saying is the service that's going to do the apartments also does the
Yes.
townhouse?
Oh, wow. Okay. And then it appears from the drawings that the distance from the street to the edge of the walkway is pretty narrow. So I'm just thinking about during snow removal, is there going to be a wall of snow?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, we would be responsible, obviously, for cleaning the sidewalks and making sure that it's safe passage throughout the entire community, and we do have some space for snow, actually. It's not a lot, but we do have some space for snow. So it's not, we don't expect it to be piled up in areas that become inaccessible.
And so what is the distance between the street and the edge of the sidewalk?
The street and the edge of the sidewalk on Hamilton and Lafayette. I have a scale version with me, but it's.
Sidewalk, no, from the sidewalk to the street?
Yes.
Yeah, this night varies. Part of the
It
existing.
varies, that's the problem.
Oh.
I'll tell you why.
It just looks really narrow.
Part of the existing sidewalk, we're actually gonna put the sidewalk back to the same place here. We're making a concerted effort to save as many street trees as possible, so we're keeping the sidewalk along the curve here, and then we're diving it back in on the other side with trees here. We're trying to preserve all these trees as best as possible. So here, there's a 0-foot setback for the sidewalk that's right there, and I have 10 feet from building the property line, and then 3 or 4 more feet approximately. I'm just gonna say approximately, I don't have nothing but a picture here. On this side, there's more green between the curb and sidewalk. That will be green, which we should have shown as green on this. And the curb is here, so this gap here will also be lawn, for that setback. If that helps.
Melissa, I'll get back to you if, they're in the back. You fight it out, either one.
Andrew Osborne. And you're under oath from us.
I have a little trouble hearing. There's gonna be a separate traffic, presentation. Okay.
Our traffic engineer is available for questions.
You mentioned that the community building will have a spot for, say, package delivery,
The package delivery, there'll be a secure package room at the community building.
and that'll be open to low rise and mid rise.
Yes, it's for the entire community.
All residents.
But the people who live, in the low rise could get deliveries to their front door, or?
No, we try to make sure that they're all secure, so that they're checked in a secure location. If you've seen Amazon and UPS drivers, they come and they dump things and they run. We try to train them to deliver them to one location, so that it could be logged in, registered, and then the resident gets a notice that it's there and the package is secure. There's not an issue of someone taking off a porch or it being just dumped everywhere. So we try very hard to control that process in one place.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking more along the lines of double parking up front.
Yeah.
And that would be the same for food delivery.
Mhm.
And then can you explain the pet spa, is that like doggy daycare?
So this is the situation. I've gotten a lot of interesting comments about the pet spa. We're a pet friendly community, so people have dogs. Lots of people have dogs. And cleaning, washing and shampooing your dog in your apartment is not necessarily something that everybody wants to do. So this is a location where you can wash, clean, dry, and groom your pet off-site in a place that we clean. So we think of it as an amenity.
Rename it to shut.
DIY.
Yes, we don't want that.
Yeah. But there's not, there's
Spa,
not
maybe.
a specifically designated landscaped area for people to walk.
No.
They would walk around town.
Correct,
Okay.
that's right.
And then, did you give any consideration to sidewalks on the other side of Somerset or any of the sidewalk gaps?
There are sidewalks on Somerset.
We're replacing,
Oh,
we're
no,
replacing the
it's on the
sidewalk on our side.
If everyone's walking dogs outside, they don't have to.
Yeah, no, we looked into that, and because most of that lot we have is all driveway openings, everyone's coming across our side. It seems practical to try and supplement on that side, because there's no other sidewalk to connect to there.
There are no other sidewalks to connect to, and there's a lot of conflict with traffic.
Right.
So we didn't really want to encourage people to be walking in that location specifically.
Did you, in the roundabout design, there were the two existing crosswalks, you said they were gonna be moved back.
They're gonna be situated, based on roundabout design standards, on this plan, the one on Lafayette, I realized and spoke to traffic engineer, we should move that one. Thank you, it's gonna move more in that direction.
But there won't be two additional ones.
No,
because there's no connecting sidewalks and we're gonna put back what's there.
Which direction are you?
Did you consider, did you consider, the school bus stop that's in the vicinity?
The school bus stop.
Right there.
Great
question.
On, Lafayette, west of the intersection.
They pick up in the morning on Lafayette and they drop off in the afternoon on Hamilton. It's usually more like mid-block in the morning, honestly, but in the afternoon, they drop off literally in the middle of
And
the
I'm sure
intersection
I'm sure the
sometimes.
bus is clear of the intersection, they're not stopping in the intersection.
I mean, no.
I know what they're supposed to do, but it's the bus.
Kids kind of, they don't talk to each other. So
I
they're
get it.
spread out all the way across, all the way along the street and even like down to here. So I don't know if there's any consideration.
I can say, I'm not the traffic engineer, but I can say operationally, all this is changing as far as the traffic flow is, instead of having a stop on Lafayette and a stop both directions on Lafayette and no stops on Hamilton. It's gonna introduce yielding, we're gonna sign the crosswalks for the yield, we're gonna sign the roundabout for the yield. So, cars should not be flying right through those, and if they do, they should be getting a ticket. So the school bus stops, all the normal laws apply. The school bus stops here, has the lights. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, the other question I have, I know according to the
Rick, did I
demographics.
cover your question with that?
Pardon?
Did I cover your question with that, sir?
Actually, you did, but I didn't hear it because somebody. Show me again.
But all right. The crosswalk locations, one to the north of the intersection, this one here is gonna be to the west of the intersection. There's a crosswalk here and here today, they'll be a little further from the intersection.
A little further, okay, that answers
That's
it.
all. Okay, great.
Thank you, thanks a lot.
Following the line with the school, I don't know if you reviewed the Hopewell has a safe routes to school plan, like 2 years old. So this is within the walk to school zone. According to the demographics, there's gonna be 20 public school age children. And the elementary school, if the map is big enough, it's kind of located here, so it's east of the intersection. So if you had kids exiting development without a crosswalk here, they would have to
They'll have-
walk here.
they will have-
Cross again.
They'll have 2 crosswalks, no different than today for this neighborhood, except now we'll have to.
Except today.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, my objection would be today, nobody lives here, so you don't want to need a crosswalk connecting. Nobody lives there.
There's no sidewalk there.
But-
They don't cross.
So I think,
On here, there isn't one. Today we have existing sidewalk here and here, so, which is probably why there's 2 crosswalks today. So we're keeping those crosswalks to serve it. Two crossings for an intersection is unheard of.
I think for safety, I'm asking.
You've, I think you've made your point, so.
All right, moving on to,
Thank you. Sorry, the other guy in the back.
Another guy.
Yeah, I can't see faces, I just know there's a hand back there. Oh, not even a guy, okay, sorry about that.
Get to this. Mary Ware. You swear from Tattoo? I do. Thank you.
The question is, I would like a full traffic report, and I don't think we have time tonight. Can we call him back to another meeting?
We will have a traffic engineer here to do a full presentation, and we will not get to it tonight. But he will be called back, and we have our own traffic person here too to challenge anything. So yes, we will get, yeah. I've been trying to decide what's a traffic question and what's not a traffic question, right on fringe that all night, so.
Thank you.
Melissa.
Wait.
No, it's all right.
Marion.
Oh, yes, okay, don't forget to swear.
Yes. Marion, Marian, Labos, Labos.
You swear from Tattoo?
I do.
Thank you.
So, as you noted, this has been going on for 4 years, and during various visits, there was mention of trying to save the trees. You mentioned it now, but on some of the existing site plan drawings, it shows that some of the trees are being removed. Looks like there's probably a conflict because a 10-foot setback really isn't all that far for a tree that has a canopy of 30 feet. And we all know that if you cut off too many limbs or you cut off too many roots, that's not going to be a healthy tree, and ultimately it's going to come down. So what can be done with the design to save the trees that have been growing for so long in Hopewell Borough? And we've lost a lot of our street trees recently. It'd be nice not to lose some more.
And the provisions of the site plan, we've done 2 things. We've identified where we're trying to save those trees. There are a few that have a conflict with an improvement, or maybe they were of a health that we looked at and said, no, we're not saving that one. And that's part of the risk of saying we'll save every tree, because we also, arborists have to look at it and determine when it's time to come down. We do show on our landscape plan all trees that could be replacement trees if they need to be, but the intention is to save as many as possible. We just identified what we'd be planting if for any we do have to replace.
Okay, I know it's a standard comment on engineer drawings to basically say the burlap and paging only has to be like half removed. But there's a reason why replacement trees never thrive, and it's because they're not planted properly. So can we please amend that note to say the burlap will be completely removed to give the replacement trees a chance of actually growing and thriving in Hopewell Borough?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's an easy ask, I'm just.
No, the answer
you know,
is yes.
You know, because it kills me. I mean, we never take care of our trees. Also, they should all be protected with buckrope, because quite frankly, you'd be surprised the number of deers that are wandering through our streets all hours of the day and night. I mean, All the time.
No, we'll take care of that.
Is the only green infrastructure BMP you're using in, the pervious pavers?
We're looking to use pervious pavement and perhaps some pervious pavers for the, for a patio behind the community building.
Okay. To reiterate David's comments about the lighting, we are in the middle of the Sourlands. You know, there are people and animals that benefit from having a relatively dark environment. This will be the largest development in this immediate area. If you look up into the Sourland Mountains, I know this is a comment, but.
Yeah, I really appreciate it if, you know,
Yeah.
keep the questions, because we will have time for comments later.
Yeah.
Maybe not tonight.
Understood. I will reiterate, and it is available for record, the lighting plan that was submitted. We've endeavored to keep the levels as low as we can. I mean, our peak levels are very low. They're 3.1 is the highest level we have anywhere.
I do understand that with this being a redevelopment project, you're exempt from a lot of aspects of the stormwater management requirements, such as improving the water quality. However, we are at the headwaters of the Stevens Brook. So if there's anything that could be done to improve the water quality.
Really, questions, please. Okay.
It's a question. Can the stormwater management system be improved?
Yes, and in fact, the green infrastructure measures we're going to be proposing provide a degree of water quality. So not only do we already comply, but we're going to exceed the minimum standards of DEP for water quality.
Okay, thank you. If I get that, those are the notes down.
Melissa, you've been waiting patiently, so
Not
I know they're
really,
important
thank you.
back, so.
Can you go back to the picture, please? Thank you. On Somerset, there appears to be no landscaping there. Am I just not, is that, will there be nothing? It'll just be the building? Is that
We have
landscaping?
a tree, a couple of ornamental trees. We have some shrubs here.
Okay.
On the north side of that building. So yes.
Okay, I couldn't see it, when it was doing it. And then, when the building is being demolished, what provisions are being taken to protect all of us?
Well, as I said before, there are a lot of standards already in the redevelopment agreement and redevelopment plan
Okay,
that provide for ongoing watering, ongoing mitigation of dust and so forth. So
Okay.
we take those things very seriously.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're gonna take quick measures to protect.
and,
certain communities.
thank you, appreciate that. Talking about, my building again, how are we gonna protect our parking?
I don't know that we're affecting parking.
Well, sure, if you're doing street parking, it's right across from the store.
If
And I know people will park there because it will be
you don't want to
easier
have
to
extra
park.
parking across the street,
No, I don't want people from the new development parking at 20.
they will not. I mean, no, we're very diligent about making sure that people are actually who are parking, for living in our communities, park in our communities.
Okay.
Not to park anyplace else.
Okay.
And we have adequate parking throughout, so there should be no reason that anybody's using the parking.
Okay, thank you.
Keith. Yuri, I got you. Next one. No, I got Keith first and then, yeah.
You're still under oath?
Yep, I'm still.
Fire
So question, about the 4-story apartment building. Is there going to be any usage on the roof? Meaning sort of like outdoor space, garden space?
More of an architecture question, but we should probably answer that.
The short answer is maybe. We're preparing to have access to the roof, but we haven't yet determined exactly what we do with it, but we could very well have a deck or, some seating areas and so forth.
Okay, so then if there's going to be resident usage of the space on the roof, then there'll also be lighting on the roof?
Dim, low-level lighting at the most.
According to what?
I don't know how to answer it, but
Right.
but it will not be intrusive.
Okay, let me ask you a different question. Has Dark Sky International done a review and issued a report on the proposed lighting and structure?
They typically wouldn't on a site plan application, but we would put forth a design that meets certain standards. I gave some testimony before saying that we're close to full compliance with dark sky, but we're with some adjustments, we can meet that with our site lighting, and or meet whatever standard might be. The bug ratings we talked about earlier, so that might be a more appropriate standard for it. There's a couple different standards for lighting.
Right.
The short answer is we'll work with the professionals of the board and provide the darkest illuminated site that practically works to maintain levels of safety and security for our site.
Yeah, no, I asked a binary question, so the answer to that is no, then. Dark Sky International has not signed off. It's your opinion, but not Dark Sky International.
But there's standards.
I understand the standards,
So-
but what I'm saying is, there's, my question is.
They have not, no,
Is that,
no, they have not done a review.
okay, thank you. Right. Then the next question I have, so it's a 4-story building. There is, it would be the only 4-story building in the borough, correct?
We can't answer
Is that, does anyone know of another 4-story building in the borough?
He answered that he doesn't know.
Okay, all right.
I can't answer that.
Okay, well, I'm asking now a fire safety question. Do we have a ladder on a fire truck in the borough that can reach the top, which would be a 4-story plus ladder in the event that there was a fire and there were people using the roof? Do we know the answer to that question?
Answer.
I'd want to speak to fire officials.
Okay, so, yes, short answer is yes, but not from every point on the property.
Okay, how many points on the property?
Somerset Street, the entrance, the parking, lot off of Somerset Street, where you come in south, right, entering off Somerset, and then Lafayette coming in directly there as well. So basically, I don't know we can describe it. In this area here, in this area here, and this area across the back. Okay, and one of the things that, in working with the developer, is they have upgraded the sprinkler systems above what is required in this building. The building requires, like the technical, requires a lesser system, so a residential standard. They're building to a full commercial standard, just like any other thing, or think of a hospital. Fire protection system, that's what you're gonna have.
Okay, so to answer my question, the ladder wouldn't reach all the parts of the 4-story.
No, but we can't reach all the roof of any building.
Okay.
In town, for the most part.
Okay. Then the next question was. Just so I'm clear, the front of the townhomes is gonna be facing Lafayette and Hamilton Avenue?
Yes.
Okay, and then there are parking spaces on the street on Lafayette and Hamilton. I'll make sure I do not get into too much traffic related, but they'll be allowed to park on the front side of their townhome units.
They can.
Okay, and you're aware that currently there's no parking restriction on either side of Lafayette or Hamilton for either of the street sections that are adjacent to the development.
Yes.
Right, so you're aware then it's possible, if not likely, that individuals in those townhome developments will be parking on both sides of the streets on both sides.
Before I answer.
I think I can answer this. They will park where it's convenient for them, and if it's not convenient in front of their apartment, they can park behind it. There's parking throughout the site,
and
it's adequate for them.
And they can park on the other side of Lafayette and the other side of Hamilton, which will still be the front entrance of their home.
They could.
Okay. So you can't tell where they're gonna park, you can only state where you want.
Question.
Right?
Please.
Right? Sorry.
Like everybody else.
And then in addition to them, just so I'm understanding this clearly, these residents will be parking here and then they will bringing out their trash and their recycling here as well. Is that correct?
They
That's
can
the
park
plan?
there and they will bring their trash and recyclable out that side, yes.
Okay, so that means then we've got residents on Lafayette and Hamilton bringing their trash and their, parking their cars and bringing their trash and their recycling on their side, and then these cars on this side and their trash and their recycling out on that side.
We're getting beyond the limits of what I can comment on, because I can't comment on neighbors across the street and parking on that level. I can affirm we're providing more than adequate parking for the entire property, that they would not need to park on the street because of a deficit of spaces on the site. If they choose to park on the street, they may. If they find it inconvenient to park on the street, they may not.
So the current plan though is that, as you understand, is that there will be potentially parking on both sides of the street. There will be parking on both sides of the street. I'm not saying residents from the unit, I'm just saying.
We can't answer that question. What we are providing on site is adequate parking for our community. If people choose to park elsewhere, there's not much we can do about that. We encourage and make every accommodation for them to park adequately and safely on our site.
And then the other question, I just want to make sure because the clarification point, which is, you said before that that there was going to be a gym in the community center and that it was for residents. I just want to clarify, when you say residents, what residents are you referring to?
All the residents of that community.
Okay, so not Hopewell Borough,
No.
just the individuals who live in that area.
That's correct.
Okay, and what's the, do you know how big, do you have architectural design? drawings?
It's all
When we
there.
get to the
That's fine,
site,
yeah.
we'll see it.
Okay, all right, but then, so essentially the community building is not a community building for Hopewell Borough, it's a community building just for the residents who are going to live.
That's exactly right. a quarantined community.
All right.
The section, it is not an integrated community with the borough, the community center. It's not for everyone's use, it's just for the residents.
It's ask and answer, yeah. Yuri?
Yes. Yuri Gorbanov, yes. Yes, the skyline questions are for architectural specialists. This might also be deferred to traffic, but did it require approval or was the main consideration on the capacity and the operation of the school buses that will have to serve the community, that will have a significant, hopefully, number of school-age children in regards of where that will be served from, at what points, and can they actually accommodate that capacity?
I just want to clarify, so your question is,
how will the school bus operate around this community in a safe and efficient manner?
That's the school district's responsibility, that's not,
Okay.
yeah. So, yeah, the school district is gonna have to figure out
That's
how
not
to do
something
that.
you have to consider in any shape or form in your proposal.
I just have one more quick one.
Let me make sure there's nobody else that hasn't spoken yet. David, come on.
David Mackey. M-A-C-K-E.
Couldn't stay away.
Do you swear for tell the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
This is really more of a procedural question. I mean, I know somewhere in all this, there will be a vapor mitigation system and other environmental features. I was just wondering, in the process of the various presentations, where do you anticipate those environmental things being addressed? Just so I know, so I can come and watch. I mean, I don't know when, I don't expect a lot of detail, but,
We actually weren't gonna do any testimony on that specifically.
oh, you weren't? Oh.
If you prefer, we can.
Yeah,
It's a construction detail that,
yeah, I think, and Jeffrey, I think we probably should have that, because I know I've gotten a lot of feedback and concerns about that, and so maybe to put that to bed,
Okay.
having the,
All right.
you know, some.
And honestly, we've never had like vapor mitigation systems come up in an application here, so I'm not sure how it works procedurally. I know it's heavily regulated in all sorts of different directions. But I think for people to have a sense of security, that it's
being addressed, and also to maybe get a little quick education on what it is,
Sure,
would probably be really good.
okay. we do.
Because, you know, and the other thing is maybe in this process, and as you've mentioned, I know this isn't really a question, but for anybody who wants to know about all the fine print and the details of the logistics in terms of construction and health and safety and demolition, it is all specified in the redevelopment plan, which we all worked on. So that if you're having trouble sleeping, 7 8 guarantee it works. But I know everybody has concerns to read that because you'll realize what it is. I was gonna say, the only.
Yeah. Thank you, David.
Yeah, and like with the VI, if there's a point where somebody wanted to just. David! Sorry. Just a suggestion. Wasn't really fun. This is. When are you gonna
Yeah, just to clarify, you're requesting that we make an informational presentation about the remediation, correct? Okay, yes, okay. Just like Director Fleck, it's not a site plan requirement. It's informational for the comfort of the board and the public.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Melissa?
Yeah, I'm
Member.
sorry. The 21 spots, where you're painting stripes, they're for anybody to park in, right? There is public, they're public spots, but they're being available. Thank you.
Correct. Rick?
I thought that you said earlier, or I thought that I saw in some of the materials, that, there would not be quite enough spots for everybody on site, but there have to be some parking in the street. Is that wrong?
Yes, it's wrong.
Yeah.
And the other question I have, what happens when it snows? What happens to your parking? when it's nighttime?
We covered that, Rick. Okay.
We don't know.
Andrew, come on. Getting to know everybody's name.
Can I ask a question of the board? I was just wondering, I mean, it looks like, the developer is gonna meet the required minimum parking spots. If the board does not feel that it's sufficient, do you have the power to request more, or is it too late?
We can request anything,
They need the standard.
but they meet the standards, so it'd be kind of hard for us to find a rationale to make them have more parking. And plus, you know, the other problem is that even if we can find space to do that, we've got, you know, we're trying to eliminate as much impervious coverage as we can, and the more parking spots we put in, the more impervious coverage you get, and the more flooding we get, so there are reasons not to overdo the parking. Well, it's 9:30, and I don't know if we want to start more testimony.
I could offer mine tends to be longer than the architect's.
That's a fact.
So, well, I'll take that, but Jeffrey, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say, our architectural testimony should be about 10 or 15 minutes. If you'd like to.
Then we're gonna have questions.
Yeah, then the questions. Let me think about that
It's
for a
so
second.
thorough, you won't need to.
Yeah,
Is there a full architectural plan on site?
yeah, on the website, yes.
Detail with finishes of what they're using for the materials they're using on the property?
Materials. How detailed is the material list?
Their colors, their materials.
Yeah.
Different colors, I wanna know specs for your finishes, I wanna know everything,
Uh,
inside and outside.
We can do the testimony in 10 to 15, and then we can do a recap.
Hang on.
I'm just asking when those plans.
They are.
The full spec of your finishes. We presented what's required. It's the full spec of your finishes in this.
You know what? Go online, look at what's on there, and if there's something that's not there, come back and you can ask about it. That's the easiest way to answer it. I mean, because, you know, I don't know what you mean. You want to know what all the faucet fixtures are? I mean, how detailed do you want to know?
Multi-purpose complex here, and I'd like to understand what they're using material wise.
Right, so look at their plans, and if you have any questions about what's not there, come back and they're happy to answer those questions.
But it's all on.
You know,
A lot of those.
So-
I can't tell you what
so
color the
let-
parking's gonna be.
Peter, Mr.
Yeah.
Chair, let me address this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
So we have a site plan
Oh, oh.
ordinance, let me just.
Yeah, Chris, go.
We have a site plan ordinance, and the site plan ordinance puts together a checklist of what's required. So there's certain elements that need to be shown. And the applicant has gone through and met the requirements of what needs to be submitted. In some cases, there were waivers that the professionals looked at and agreed that some of those materials were not necessary, or some of those materials could be provided later because it didn't have an impact. But for the most part, the application was deemed complete, so the minimum or the required amount, I should say, of detail has been shown on the plans, either the architectural or civil plans. Now, as we go through the testimony, we can ask for additional questions, and some of those may be able to be answered in terms of like a particular material. Maybe they may not be able to be answered. We don't know that yet, but the plans are on the website and you can review it. And by the way, we haven't had architectural testimony yet. So we're gonna see the architectural plans. They're gonna go through. No, I'm just going through. I'm just saying, they're gonna go through. Then you can look at the plans on file, and then you could ask questions, and they'll be able to answer them or, if they can.
Hi, given the,
Are you just asking the board a question?
I'm asking, I'm not, I don't know who
Okay.
this is
Well,
for.
just say-
Student Laura Hopewell,
Okay,
I
let's do it
swear,
again.
yes, Polar, Pollara. Given the time, given how long this has all taken tonight and how much we didn't get to, can the board and you all walk us through what the next steps are? Like, will there be another meeting? There's another planning board this meeting. Can you help us understand will you all be back at the next planning board? Like when, because I think that's keeping everyone informed would be really helpful given the time.
Yeah, go ahead, Christopher.
Yeah, so in the normal course, when an application starts and it's not able to finish in one night, which is doubtful tonight, what happens is we, at the end of the meeting, find a date certain, the next probably scheduled board meeting. And we put on the record that it will be carried to that date without further notice, so there's gonna be no additional notice. But the application does continue at that day, and we start where we left off. So the applicant will bring up their next witness, or wherever if they have a half witness, we'll go through. And then we'll follow pretty much the same format, which seems to
So
have
we get
worked
all
out.
the way through.
Yeah,
Yep.
till we get all the way through.
And
And
I
then
would-
at the end, like I said, then it's an opportunity for people to comment, make arguments, pro, con, whatever, at that time.
And I would also point out that we have a second meeting in February, but we're doing different business at that meeting. So Hopewell 57 will not be on that agenda. It'll be the first meeting in March that we continue to.
And can we have an idea of
Well, yeah.
order the
Well,
testimony?
oh, yeah, from the applicant.
Did I? Yes. Before,
Sorry, if I could make a note on the notice, because you raised it at the beginning that some people were reporting that they didn't get their notice.
Mhm.
I had to go and pick up my notice from the Pennington post office. So if you can, in the future, when you need to make notices by certified mail, can we have the pickup at the Hopewell post office?
That's just not.
It might not be.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Talk to the Postmaster General.
Yeah.
I thought I.
Yeah, keep.
We'll get the mail anyway.
Sorry, can you just clarify what you mean by no notice?
So in order for the board to take jurisdiction, they had to provide notice to everyone within 200 feet and in the newspaper. We checked that, confirmed. The board took jurisdiction. We carry it to the next date certain. We'll name the date, the time, and we're not gonna get a further 200-foot notice or newspaper notice.
But it will still be noticed on the website and on the
And
agenda.
the agenda and
So
all the
it's
usual
like
places.
48 hours general notice under the sunshine law, but not
Yes, I'm talking purely about
Of the
jurisdiction.
200.
Yeah, exactly.
what
Yeah.
required. Got it. Okay, thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think somebody asked the applicant if they have an idea of how they're gonna
Yeah,
proceed.
Yeah, I thought, we have one more question in the back, let me, it's funny. I
Yeah,
want-
you're
take care of all
you're in
the
control,
questions
Mr. Chair.
I understand that the municipality has an ordinance on what's required for site plan. And I do appreciate there are renderings, and it was noted that some of the renderings are from a bird's eye view that we'll never experience. When I prepared site plan applications previously, taken photos in the community that like from pedestrian viewpoints, and then blended the rendering in with the actual photographs, so we can truly understand how it looks in the community. And since there's been I think between the developer and all the residents, if you want it to be I would like to see, could
will
you do
see-
that?
Well, you'll see some of that in the architectural testimony that we have yet to present.
It's not, is it available online? Because we only have these.
We submitted what was required, but we have extra material that we're going to be presenting,
Okay,
in testimony.
okay,
That
so
would have been online.
so we won't have a chance to see it in advance of the testimony.
They provided what they have to provide.
Yeah,
The
so-
testimony will be supplemental to that,
So-
and so no, you won't see it before the
Yeah,
testimony.
as witnesses come up, they'll have more exhibits like you saw tonight,
Okay,
and that's when it becomes part of the record, and then you have the ability to review and take a look at them. But they're based upon what was submitted. If there's any specific changes, they have to identify it.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Keith, you guys.
No, all I wanna say is, it would be nice if the bare minimum requirement isn't always the response, because in Hopewell, I like to think as a community, we tend to try to strive for more than what the bare minimum law requires.
Point
Just a
taken.
recommendation.
Okay, so let's hear, what your lineup is gonna be.
Yeah. It's just continuation of what I said at the beginning. The next witness will be the architect. Following that will be the traffic engineer. And that will.
And, the environmental,
Yes.
Oh,
will be,
okay.
yes.
When would you like to work that in?
And then I guess we'll do that at the end, after traffic,
Okay,
is that we'll give a informational presentation on remediation and vapor intrusion control systems.
okay, all right. So. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna carry this now. We're not gonna do any more testimony tonight because we will get the architectural and then we won't have time for questions, and I don't wanna do that. So we'll carry it till the February meeting, which is what date?
March.
March meeting, sorry.
Okay, so for the record, this will be carried to March 4th at 7 o'clock. And it's same location, same time, 7 o'clock, March 4th. There'll be no further notice, required under the municipal land use law. And, yeah, it'll be same format.
So just as a summary, if you didn't hear it, so architectural, traffic, and vapor, the remediation will be the next things on the agenda for this application.
The school, the school, there's a whole report about the school impact and the emergency services impact. When do we do that? You're not doing that?
No,
We submitted the required reports.
yeah,
Reports are available.
the reports are online. So you can, I mean, read the reports and if you have questions about the reports, you can ask the questions, you know, when we do the end, yeah. When we do the end wrap up, when you can make comments.
Next December.
It is what it is. Michael?
Oh, we start. Oh, we forgot about it.
No, we're not doing that. Hey, folks, could we keep you down in the back till we're done? Thanks.
We're not adjourned.
Can the HPC go after the architect? Can the testimony of the HPC be presented at that point?
I think that's a
on the
reasonable,
Yeah.
yeah,
Is that all right?
yes,
That's what HPC
Yeah.
plan, actually. So that will be the second.
So-
Oh, thank you.
yeah.
Second thing.
So Michael, you'll be here for that.
I will.
Oh, good, okay, yeah, then definitely.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
What was that in with- what I said?
Yeah.
All right, Andrew, you got one more?
Yes.
Okay.
Quick,
Come on down.
So they just need to hear you.
Have trouble hearing. You said, I was looking, I don't see the architectural plans, like floor plans on the planning board website yet. There's like the 3D rendering and site plans, but no architectural.
Our very capable secretary is looking at that now. I didn't get mine off the site, so I had to. They printed mine. Yeah.
It's just loading, so hold on one second.
And if they're not there,
Yeah, we also have paper copies here. If anybody wants to look while you guys are here, we have paper copies, but I'll look and see if we have it on the website.
and if it's not up there, it will be.
And
Yeah.
also just to announce, is it okay, Tanner?
Yeah.
There's the whole application that's available during regular business hours, if you guys ever wanna come and just look at them before being here and not knowing what you guys are looking at, so.
Yeah. So if you're having trouble reading on your laptop computer, the little tiny plans,
Yeah.
you can come to Borough Hall and you can get the 20 by 20 versions. So
Great.
thank you for pointing that out. Yeah. All right, if there's nothing else, I'm going to ask for.
Well, first you're gonna tell us what, if we have a meeting in the middle of February, what it's for.
Yeah.
Oh,
February,
Okay.
yeah.
yeah. So the February meeting will be on the Department of Public Works project. And also Joanna has some affordable housing business that we have to take care of pretty quickly. So that's what the second meeting in February is gonna be. So
And what's the date?
18th, that's 18th.
18th.
Yeah.
February 18th. You're gonna be away.
Don't
wanna talk affordable housing?
Yeah, but everybody, I could call all those other people
And
back.
on the record, we already stopped the other hearing.
Yes, sorry,
and
yes,
Carried it to the date certain, so that's already done.
correct. Correct.
With that, I will happily move to adjourn. Thank you.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.